penalty against Abu Khatallah, the Libyan man charged in the Benghazi attack. The 2012 ambush killed 4 Americans, including Ambassador Chris Stevens. As if the Republican race for the White House needed more drama, Ted Cruz is suggesting he could restart his campaign.
He does have a very influential block of delegates with which he can wield a lot of leverage at the July convention. He's got 564 delegates. So even if he won every one that was left in the next night contest, he wouldn't get anywhere near 1237. But if he goes in there with that many delegates, he has a lot of influence to say, I want people on these committees, et cetera, et cetera. I want to be able to make a big speech at the convention.
Fox's John Roberts. Cruz remains on the ballot in Nebraska, where a GOP primary is being held. In West Virginia, Republicans and Democrats are voting.
Polls heading into today's Democratic contest in West Virginia favored Bernie Sanders over Hillary Clinton, who upset coal miners when she suggested the coal industry was going out of business.
Fox's Rachel Sutherland in Washington. The White House is making clear President Obama's upcoming trip to Hiroshima is not an apology. Fox's John Decker live at the White House.
White House spokesman Josh Earnest said that when the president visits the Peace Park in Hiroshima later this month, one thing he won't do is offer Japan an apology for the U.S. dropping an atomic bomb.
He's just going to offer some short, simple reflections on his visit, and that will include an observation about the way that the relationship between the United States and Japan has been transformed.
An estimated 80,000 people were killed in Hiroshima when an atomic bomb was dropped on the city near the end of World War II. Pam?
Thanks, John. At the closing bell on Wall Street, the Dow up 222 points to 17,928. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
For me, it was the big S-Class from the 90s. Beautiful. My friend's dad had one.
The SL. All of the SLs. I've been watching those since I was a kid.
I think the 1971 SE was the first Mercedes that just blew me away.
Everyone remembers the first time they saw one, and the day they began to long for a Mercedes-Benz of their own. Well, that day may be a lot closer than you think. With a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you can experience the luxury, the unparalleled safety, the performance, and the style Mercedes-Benz is famous for at a price you can afford. Beautiful SUVs, sedans, coupes, and convertibles that are factory certified and covered by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 3 years, so you can drive without a worry for as far as you like. And during the certified pre-owned sales event going on now through May 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
Can the GOP come together and unify behind Donald Trump? The likely Republican presidential nominee may get an idea when he sits down with party leaders on Thursday.
I think most of my members believe that he's won the nomination the old-fashioned way. He got more votes than anybody else.
Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell. Last week, House Speaker Paul Ryan said he wasn't yet ready to endorse Trump. Opening statements in Colorado in a civil trial stemming from the massacre at a movie theater.
Attorneys for victims of the 2012 shooting at an Aurora Cinemark theater say Cinemark failed to have alarms on the front exit doors. No security cameras or perimeter patrols. Attorney Mark Burns said the theater had armed security guards the days leading up to the shooting, but not the day of.
We believe that living in a post-9/11 world as we do, we have to have vigilance and security that's different than as of September 10th, 2001.
Attorneys for Cinemark are relying on evidence that came out during the trial for the shooter, James Holmes. They say he was determined to commit the shooting, and psychological workers who had contact with him should have put him on a mental health hold. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
The mental health of a German man is being questioned after multiple people were stabbed at a train station. One of them died.
The initial assessment from German police was that the attack may well have had an Islamist element, but there's now also a focus on the suspected attacker's mental health. Authorities saying the 27-year-old German had previously been in psychiatric care and appeared confused in questioning. He also said he'd been taking drugs.
Fox's Simon Owen in our European bureau. It's a familiar stop for the UConn women's basketball team. They were welcomed to the White House by President Obama.
These women have broken so many records. We don't have time to run through all of them.
The Huskies winning another NCAA title, their fourth in a row. Pam Puso, Fox News Radio.
Muggy. It is.
A little muggy.
Ooh,
of course, I actually ran on the treadmill.
There you go.
So when I actually do that once every 3 weeks, it all seems hot.
Yeah, and then you continue to sweat even after a shower.
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't stop sweating. No. Here's your cheap hour 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service. If you need an AC expert, give Cheap Bauer Service Experts a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at cheapbauer.com. Tonight, getting down to 57. We have a 50% chance of a stray thunderstorm in the evening. Other than that, drying out for tomorrow with a high of 82 and sunny. Low of 64 and Thursday. Maybe some showers in the early morning hours, but after that, looks to be sunny with a high of 75. Low of 51. We're finally drying out a little bit. Right now, it is 68 and partly cloudy. ESPN Radio.
Welcome you into another Tay and J Show. May 10th. Are we like halfway through the year now? I guess June 1 would be that, right?
No, I think it'd be June 30th would be. You get through 6 full months.
That's true.
What, is it the middle of the year? May 10th?
Is it amazing that I graduated high school and college?
Hey, that's okay.
I mean, that's sometimes I bet our listeners are like, wow, that Lon Tay is not very short.
May 10th is Bono's birthday.
Okay.
So happy birthday, Bono.
Well, that's what we need to do today. Because usually when Carp and I are here,
we have a theme day?
We do kind of have a theme day.
U2 songs coming out of breaks?
Let's do it.
Okay, cool.
By the way, it's the Tay and J Show. I'm Lon Tay. He's Mike Carpenter. Yesterday, we even kind of gave each other, we didn't give each other a high five, but we kind of gave an acknowledgement that we actually did a sports show.
Yes, and fortunately with the help of our producer extraordinaire, Austin Birkland, we will do another sports show today. Coming up at 3:15, just short in about 8-9 minutes here. Tyra Perry, the Illini softball coach, will call in. We'll kind of catch up with her and what the team's doing so far. At 3:40, Dan Hayes from CSN Chicago to talk White Sox.
Right.
The first place Chicago White Sox.
Unbelievable.
Still looking good with an extra inning win last night. And then at 5:40 to close the show out, Sahada Sharma, The Athletic, a great website, highly recommended to come on to talk about the Cubs. Also, we need to do some taste take.
Okay.
Should we do that maybe like at 4:45 or something, or sometime in the 5 o'clock hour?
Yeah, that's true. Maybe coming out of drive time.
Okay, cool. Well, we'll solicit some taste take questions. You can always tweet them #taste take at Fanboy Carp or at Lon Tay ESPNCU.
That's awesome. You just ripped it off. It's one of those where sports show yesterday, sports show today. Tomorrow we don't know what we're going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, tomorrow it might just run off the rails. Thursday we're at Bunny's, right?
Thursday we're at Bunny's, so we can definitely go off the rails there.
Absolutely.
But I'm excited for that because it looks to be a really nice day, 75, no rain. We're going to be outside.
Nice.
Those outside shows are a lot of fun. We have fixed our technical issues for anyone that might be leery of the remotes. Those are all good, so we apologize to our listeners and the folks over at Bunny's for that.
Absolutely.
But we are good to go for that on Thursday. And then Friday, it's going to be the Holy Triumvirate back in action with a 5 to 5.
That's going to be fun. Derek Piper is going to join us, I know, Thursday, and get us kind of up to speed on this Illini basketball recruiting. I know nothing has really happened. And
it's all quiet. It's eerily quiet,
right?
Isn't it?
It's not necessarily a concern of mine regarding the Jordan Goodwin thing, because I think Jordan Goodwin, I don't know Jordan Goodwin, but I think he's one of those that kind of wants to prove to everybody that he is a good player. And I think
I'm cool with that.
Kind of been undervalued, it seems like, through, and I'm not talking the services like Rivals or Scout. I'm not talking that he's been undervalued with that with regards to where he's ranked. He may be ranked exactly where he needs to be, but he didn't get a lot of big offers early, and then they started trickling in. I know a Michigan State has offered him, and other teams are looking at him, and I think he's just a kid, Carp, that has shown a lot, and probably one that if you took him from where he's situated down south and moved him up north, he'd probably gain quite a bit more offers by this time, correct? Sure. Just out of the Chicago mystique. So I think he's just a kid that kind of wanted to go out and say, hey, look at me. I'm pretty good. Now, all along, he may have Illinois as his main target.
Maybe
and we hope.
And he might just be taking a gander at other places and taking his time, and I respect that, certainly.
Sure.
But if there's one concern with Gross as a recruiter, it so far has been closing. And we can talk about the bad luck when you talk about a Quentin Snyder and how close you were with Cliff Alexander, because those were two situations where you probably cannot have done that much more.
And you actually kind of closed on Quentin Snyder, right?
Right.
You verbaled.
Yeah, you did. And the fact that, you know, if that happens, then maybe the entire trajectory of this thing is different.
Without a doubt.
Between all the injuries, which I'm as angry as I was at certain points last season, I was still acknowledging that injuries played a role. I just felt like they didn't play so much a role where you should be just a god-awful basketball team.
I hear you.
But when it comes to recruiting, the thing that scares me the most with Jordan Goodwin and then Jeremiah Tillman, which me and you can do this because we've been fans. We've seen this before.
Yes, we have.
We can both probably say this in unison. He's not coming here.
No, right?
Jeremiah Tillman's not coming here.
Not now.
And I don't know anything. Like, there's no insider information. I'm just telling you as an Illinois fan with institutional knowledge. Let's just drop it.
I think a lot of people are with you, Carp. I think a lot of people are with you. Thank goodness for the Jeremy Warners and the Derek Pipers of the world because they still look at it from a professional point of view and understand that he is not committed anywhere else.
Yeah,
so technically Illinois is still involved. But I'm with you on this. It's one of those where it seemed like you had a lot of momentum going with Jeremiah Tillman. And right after DeMonte Williams, that was the point. When Javon Pickett was first, then when DeMonte Williams said yes, I thought, all right, the momentum is on Illinois' side. Here we go. Jeremiah Tillman's going to see that, like that. Derek Piper even alluded to that Tillman, kind of to him said, oh, really?
Yeah.
Almost like, sweet,
Well,
and then that has come and gone.
Yes.
And it's been a while since DeMonte Williams verbally committed. So now you're that
fateful
window.
Sunday night when Illinois beat Minnesota at home.
Right.
Even though they were trailing somewhat big early.
They were.
I think.
They came back and won that. And Derek Piper broke it.
And that's the thing is that recruiting, I got to give a guy like Derek Piper and anyone that's actually covering something like that a lot of credit because I would not have the patience to do so.
No way.
And for me, the frustrating thing about even following recruiting, first off, it's so easy to get sucked into that wormhole of getting excited about this so-called momentum. Well, what is momentum? I mean, in other words, there's no real actual way to measure, hey, Jeremiah Tillman was 80% close to finish. We don't know, and we'll never know. And that can go the same for any recruit, but you hear all this momentum is constantly thrown around in these recruiting stories, and I'm thinking, well, what does that even mean?
Sure.
I mean, yes, they're kids. Their thoughts are fleeting. They will change on a whim.
There's no doubt.
I mean, that goes with being a 16, 17-year-old kid making a life decision.
Sure.
But that part just frustrates me. So that's why in my mind, mentally, I've just come to grips with the fact that you aren't going to get him. But there are other guys on the table for that 2017 class, including Justin Smith,
absolutely,
a big guy that's back in the picture. And it would be really interesting if after all this time, you circle back to the Nogel Easterns and the Justin Smiths, and maybe you don't get the Goodwin or Tillman. You can still get a good class.
You can. You can.
But I think that if you don't get a good one in Tillman, you better have a really, really good year on the court.
There's no doubt. And the good one's still the key for me. He has been from day one. Yeah. He's still the key for me. I still think if you add him, you still have a great class.
Losing Tillman would be like losing Cliff Alexander.
Yeah.
Losing Goodwin would be like losing Quentin Snyder.
That's a great analogy.
And we all knew that Friday that was probably going to hurt more, that you had a 4-year point guard who was going to be really good. And wow, problem solved.
Sure.
And you always build around a point guard in college basketball. Yeah, sure, the star power, the pomp and circumstance that would have come with a Cliff Alexander, that stung. But that was fleeting.
Yeah.
That was fleeting. The Quentin Snyder thing is still hurting 2+ years on.
There's no doubt about it. We're going to talk we'll talk some Illini today. I know yesterday we talked about the football team and the fact that that is a 6:30 kickoff against North Carolina on September 10th. You and I are excited about that. That will be fun to do. A little later in the show, I want to talk to you because you're youthful compared to me. You're a couple generations or a couple of decades, less than I am.
I think I'm just one generation.
Yeah, just one generation. But there's a guy in baseball, Bryce Harper, that's caught the imagination of all of us. He's a really stud, obviously, but he does some theatrics. He does some interesting things. He's a little bit arrogant. He's a little bit cocky. And it seems as though that is kind of something that a lot of people have issues with. Whether you're my generation, you have issues with it.
Oh, I think it's cross-generational.
Your generation possibly that likes it a little bit and thinks, you know what, that dude's kind of cool. So later in the show, and I'd love to get some listener reaction to this as well, of if that's something, and I don't want you to respond now.
Yeah.
But is that something that the next generation needs? Like, do you need that? Are we, and I'm not saying that bad or good. I'm not saying that me at 45 has watched the best baseball that's ever been played, and what we watched is the best, and that's the way you should act, etc. I'm not going down that path. I don't like the way he acts sometimes, and some of his shenanigans don't play well with me, and I understand why he gets beaned. I understand why he gets thrown out a lot. But I want to know.
Or just walked an entire series.
Right, exactly. But I want to know from some of the younger people, do you need that? Do you need that for baseball? Do you obviously don't mind it, but do you need that? So that'll be something we'll tackle as we go along today. One of the newest Illini coaches is Tyra Perry, Illini softball coach. We have never had her on the show. And Jeremy and I a few times have sat there saying, why haven't we had Coach Perry on the show? And finally, one day, I was in one of Champaign-Urbana's fine restaurants, and I saw Coach Perry walk in, and I walked over and visited with her a while, and I said, Coach, I promise one of these days we're going to have you on our radio show. And in fact, we're going to do it right now. We're going to head to the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line and welcome in Illini softball coach Tyra Perry. Coach, how are you?
I am great. How are you guys?
We are wonderful. It's Lon Tay you're talking to, and also Mike Carpenter. Jeremy Warner's on assignment. He's out in like Vegas or something, so we sent him west for the time. We have not had you on, so we haven't had a chance to just congratulate you, number one, and just ask you, without diving into the season yet, we'll get to that in a minute, just how have things been? How's the move to this area been and the move to Illinois?
Well, it's been great. The people of Champaign-Urbana have been very welcoming. Personally and professionally, and just really started to settle in. And I can say the same for my staff. We've really enjoyed, every moment that we've had here so far. So I think things are going great.
Tyra, what were some of the immediate things that you had to do when you first took the job? Was there any sort of culture change that you felt needed to happen, or was this maybe a string of smaller things that you needed to put in place right when you took the position?
Well, first off, I have to say that Coach Sullivan and her staff did an excellent job of just getting everything started. I've had to start a program before, so it's very difficult to do. And, the young ladies that, I have the opportunity to work with right now wouldn't be here, without her staff. So definitely, that was definitely a pleasant surprise. In most cases, when you're coming into a program, someone's maybe been fired, or there's sometimes a coach has left that the players loved, and and they were shocked about it. But in Coach Terry's case, she retired. So it's a different setting. So a lot of our adjustments as far as the culture were very small. It's kind of been a slow release, type of thing, and we communicate a lot with our players, and they're very mature young women, so it's been a fairly easy transition in that regard.
Yeah, without a doubt. It's almost funny that you're only the second coach ever at the University of Illinois for softball, and that is a credit to Terry Sullivan, who is a friend of ours and certainly did a wonderful job starting a program. I mean, that just sounds so awesome to even think about, and a difficult task, but she certainly did a wonderful job to put Illinois on the map, and now Tyra Perry is taking over from there. What is your strength, Coach? What would you say your strength is as a coach on the field?
On the field, I am extremely calm, and from what I understand, Terry's energy and my energy are, maybe a little different.
Yes.
But, just different, not good or bad, so, but I may have to probably look for me on the field because, I really feel like the game is the time, where it's about the players, and it's their time to, really put their talents on display. So we work really, really hard in practice. I'm a lot more active in practice, a lot more vocal in practice, so that, hopefully, I don't have to say as much or my staff as much in the game.
Sure. That's understandable. I want to ask you, and I want to be delicate with this. There's been a couple of off the field problems, I guess. So my question for you, Coach, as a new coach here at the University of Illinois, how have you kind of handled the distractions? How has your team handled the distractions? And we don't have to be specific about what's happened, but that have happened this year. How has that been? And I assume that's something you've learned even as you go.
Well, as I said before, I have a great group of young women. Right. This is college atmosphere, and unfortunately, we had some, things that happened to a great group of young women. So we were very upfront about it. We've addressed everything as it came, as much as we could, because there are some legal implications in some of the instances. But we are, just trying to learn from every situation that came our way, and I really feel like we are on that path of learning. And, we're very upfront. We communicate, and we say this is what's happening, this is why, this is what's going to happen because of it, and then we keep going.
Does it have much, if any, effect on on-field performance?
Well, I don't think so. We've had a pretty good year so far. I do think it's just kind of, it's a real, college is the precursor to your real life. So, in real life, you're going to face challenges. So we just kind of framed it in that way.
And as you said, the season so far, 34-20, 12-11 in the Big Ten, Absolutely. And you're going to be the 7th seed in the Big Ten tournament coming up, facing Michigan State. What are some of the things, what do you guys need to do over the course of that weekend to make it to the championship game, to make a run here?
Well, not to sound cliche, but we need to be in it to win it. That if you're going to go and get on the plane on Wednesday to go, to State College, then, our intent needs to go to win. And that's what we've been talking about. We had practice on Monday, and we took the day off, to give our young ladies a chance at, relaxing or taking their finals, whichever, the case may be for them.
Right.
But tomorrow we're going to get after it again, and we're talking just about that mindset that, don't get on the plane if you're not going to win at all. And we're going to have to go through Michigan State first, who is very hot right now. And, we can't be afraid of that. We have to, know that we're hot as well and that we have the team that we need and rely on that.
Unlike baseball, Coach, I know in baseball normally you can just go, you get one starter and he pitches once and then he maybe sits a game or two. Will you be able to ride one pitcher throughout, or how does that work with you? What is kind of the idea behind that?
Well, in softball, technically you can rely on one arm. And back in my day when I played, we kind of had one arm that we, threw mainly. But, for us, we do have a staff of 4.
Nice.
And we're just going to, we're watching film. We've watched some today, and we're going to keep watching film. We're going to, put the person out there that we feel gives us the best chance to win.
Yeah, and I know Brianna Wonderly is one of those. 28 games started this year, 2.96 ERA. 72 strikeouts. I mean, that's been a wonderful year from her. Is that something you projected for Brianna, or is she kind of gone above the expected, I guess?
I wish I was smart enough to say that I projected that, but part of it is that we knew that it was in her, but being a new staff, we're constantly learning, about each player. We're still learning about each player, not having that opportunity to be on the recruiting side, of the players, and it's just a constant process. So we knew that potential was in her, but to see Bree just take the team on her back the way that she has and just do the things that she's been able to do. It's hard enough to face a Big Ten team,
right,
and hitters in one game, but there's been several instances where she's thrown all 3 for us.
Wow.
And I can't say enough about her, and she's just a wonderful kid. She's a farm kid from Missouri, and she just knows work.
I love
she's going to go out there and give you her best, whatever that is.
She's up milking cows early, so she understands what work ethic is, right? She's getting that.
She doesn't blink at it.
Right. Tyra Perry's our guest, Illini softball coach. I have no idea if Brianna actually milked cows, but it's the farm thing. We're throwing stuff in there. Well, Coach, I know also, I wanted to ask you, as you set the tone with softball compared to baseball as well, because I know a lot of our fans maybe watch a lot of baseball with Major League Baseball. You've seen the idea that pitchers maybe go 7, then you've got middle relief, then you've got a closer. Is that the case in softball? In other words, has it changed any at all to where maybe you've got Brianna for, 6 strong innings and then you move to somebody else? Or is softball more of it, you just hand it to this one and say, go as long as you can?
I would say softball is more of the latter. You just kind of hand it to them and have them go. There are scenarios where, you have a year where you do have to pitch a little bit more by committee.
Sure.
So I think either one works. It's just, as a coach, you have to identify, what is going to work for your team.
Tyra, talk a little bit about the makeup of your team as far as, is this a veteran-laden squad, or is this something that you feel a roster that can build into something even more special next year or maybe 2 years from now?
I actually think we have both. We do have quite a few seniors. We will have to replace Allie Balk, who is amazing in many ways. And then we also have Kylie Johnson out in left field, who is just as of late, really coming into her own and, making almost acrobatic plays out in left field. So we're definitely, going to miss those guys. And then we have Remini Perez as a senior, who's a DP for us quite a bit. Danielle Trezos at third for us, and Nicole Tabone has pinch hit for us quite a bit and come up with big hits for us throughout the year. So we are going to miss those guys. We have quite a few juniors out there as well, but our younger class, our sophomores and our freshmen are hungry. They're learning every day. Some of them are on the field or seeing playing time. So I do think that yes, we are fairly veteran, but yes, also the future is bright.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you've got some speed thrown in there with Kylie Johnson, 17 stolen bases. Annie Fleming has 5 triples, third most in program history. So there's some speed on this team, but Nicole Evans is the one that gets them home. 50 ribbies, 12 home runs. She's had a heck of a season, Coach.
My favorite quote to say about Nicole is that she's going to be president someday.
Nice.
She's just that kind of kid.
Can she run this year? Could she run this year? That would be great.
I think we would want her to. I really do. I'd vote for her, for sure. I would definitely vote for her. She just rallies the team, and she is just the best kid. Always smiling, always ready to go. I guess the best part about her is that she just understands her role. She understands who she is and is just fully willing to do whatever she can do for University of Illinois softball.
That's fantastic. Tyra Perry taking over this Illinois softball team, and already out of the gates, 34-20, 12-11 in the Big Ten. They're the number 7 seed in the Big Ten tournament. You'll take on number 10, Michigan State Spartans in the tournament. Coach, congratulations on a great year, and good luck here in the tournament. We'll keep our eye on you.
Thank you so much. I love y'all's energy. This was fun. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Coach. We appreciate. I promise we're going to have you on again. Is that cool?
Oh, I'd love to come.
Okay.
I'd love it. Thank you.
We appreciate it. Good luck, Coach. That is Tyra Perry. She is the Illini softball coach. Why do I have an issue saying Tyra Perry? Is it because of Tyler
Perry?
Am I thinking Steven Tyler? Why am I having an issue with that?
No, because I think it's 2 consecutive names with
Tyra Perry. Yeah, maybe
Tyra,
that's it.
Perry. The consonants maybe throw you a little bit.
That could be it. She was awesome, though. I had a chance to visit with her for about 15 minutes when I ran into the restaurant. She said she's loving it here.
I like how she said, you guys' energy. I was like, that's Lon. That's
right.
Lon.
Carp's just laid back.
I have energy, but I usually got to get angry about something like that. Lon is always at
I'm always at that peak.
110%.
I don't know why that is.
Well, let's talk baseball coming back.
Okay.
Well, it's an easy transition from softball to baseball.
Absolutely.
I think it's going to be a pretty baseball-heavy show, actually. But let's go with the national conversation. There's actually 2 stories from the Washington Nationals I wanted to talk about. One was Bryce Harper, another Steven Strasburg, who got a contract, but there's a lot of interesting things within this contract that may help inform how the Cubs deal with the Jake Arrieta deal.
Ooh, I like this. All right, that's a little bit of a tease. Again, if you want to weigh in today on the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line or the Chief Bauer text line, you can do that at 359-2255. That's 359-2255. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. We tweet. Carp mentioned it earlier. I'm at Lon Tay, ESPN. See you.
And I'm at Fanboy Carp. You can always download the WSJK app. Get our podcast at ESPNCU.com. or on iTunes, powered, of course, by GTPS Insurance. Our producer extraordinaire, Austin Berkland, in with us today. If this isn't the Holy Triumvirate, this is a very special trio.
Correct.
Nonetheless, I always like the Tuesdays and Fridays when Austin's in here, and he lined up some great guests, including at 3-4 Dan Hayes from CSN Chicago to talk White Sox for all 18 of you out there. I'm kidding. And then at 5:40, Sahadev Sharma from The Athletic in Chicago to talk about Cubs, and he could do some Sox as well.
For all you millions of Cubs fans out there. Millions.
There's plenty of them right now.
Oh, and
hopefully they get a game in tonight. I was looking forward to watching some baseball.
It's May. It's May, and it's a struggle always. Even around here, even area teams, and, of course, even on the Major League slate every once in a while. You don't get it very often, but on occasion you get that old rain out. All right, so if you'd like to weigh in, 359-2255. We're back. It's the Tay and J Show.
There's nothing better than real Texas barbecue, and no better place to get it than Hickory River Smokehouse. Every cut of beef brisket, pork shoulder, turkey breast, pork loin, and chicken are carefully selected and rubbed with a signature spice blend, infused with hickory smoke for juicy, award-winning flavor. For you Illini fans, it's served up right in Memorial Stadium and the upper concourse in the State Farm Center on game days. How about a smoked hammer turkey for your family get-together, or a taste as big as Texas for lunch, dinner, or to watch the big game? You're guaranteed to be the fan favorite. HickoryRiver.com or in Decatur, Springfield, Springfield, Urbana, and Peoria.
Saturday, May 21st, Thomasboro is the place to be.
Events all day include the 5K, Kids Race, Kids Activities, Car Show,
Vendor Craft Show, Barbecue Cook-Off, food vendors, and more. Then wrap up the night with Marvin Lee
and Ryan Adias and the Feudin' Hillbillies. For more information, visit thomasborocelebration.weebly.com.
Thomasboro is easily located off Route 45 between Urbana and Rantoul, Illinois.
Visit thomasborocelebration.weebly.com.
Enjoy the weekend, folks.
When you're a kid, monsters live under your bed. When you're a grown-up, monsters come in the mail. You know, bills. But by refinancing your mortgage with Quicken Loans, you could save hundreds of dollars each month. Money you can use to shrink those monstrous bills down to a size that's not nearly as scary. To learn how, call 800-QUICKEN today or visit us online at QuickenLoans.com. Here's one more thing that can help put your mind at ease. For 6 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call us at 800-QUICKEN and buy in. Again, that number is 800-QUICKEN. Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power. Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance, finding the perfect solution for you, guiding you through the options, helping you through a claim, and adapting to your evolving needs. Since 1997, GTPS Insurance has provided coverage for your car, your home, your business, and your life. As an independent broker, GTPS Insurance Agency will shop around until they find the right coverage at the best price. Contact a GTPS Insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
This Mettler fitness tip is brought to you by the Mettler Center, located at Windsor and Duncan in Champaign.
Accept that relapses are part of the change process. One food, one meal, one day, or 1 week of indiscretions does not mean you have fallen off the wagon. You should accept that ups and downs are part of the change process, not a reason to criticize yourself or give up on your goals. Identify relapses early so you can make a plan for getting back on track.
If you need quick advice on a fitness topic, go to MettlerCenter.com and click on Ask an Expert. U2 not on cue there. If we're going to specialize today on U2, they got to be ready.
Do I need to hit it?
Let's do it again.
Yeah, because such a good intro.
Let's do it again. I agree.
There we go.
Yeah, this is bringing back some SIU memories right here. All right, it's the U2 theme Tuesday.
Yeah, we already got a disparaging text message. It just said, no.
Who doesn't like
U2?
Who doesn't like U2?
Well, here's the thing. I think a lot of people dislike Bono.
Oh, okay.
For his ego, and they think he's a megalomaniac, and they get tired of the humanitarian efforts.
Gotcha.
You know, all the good things he's doing for the world. They get tired of that.
How dare him.
But
how dare him do that.
Yeah, I get it. Maybe an overplay factor, but, you know, when you got a chorus like this right here, how can you dislike U2? I don't get it.
Here we go. Is this the song they got up on a liquor store and just played for their video?
That was Streets, where the streets have no name.
Okay, that
great video. Very cool.
Great video.
Okay, so we talked with Tyra Perry, some softball. It is the Tay and J Show, by the way. Mike Carpenter with Lon Tay, Jeremy Warner on assignment. Let's do a couple national baseball stories before we get nitty-gritty, as Lon Tay says, with the White Sox here at 340 with Dan Hayes from CSN Chicago.
I have a lot of stupid things I say.
So before we get into the Bryce Harper thing, because I think that's a larger conversation we could have.
Okay.
And maybe more about generational preference, about what they want from their superstars.
No, that's fair.
Steven Strasburg signed a 7-year, $150 million deal with the Nationals. So they got this extension in place before he hit the free agent market.
Okay.
Probably saved a lot of money in the process. The current record holder for a pitching contract, $217 million for David Price, and that was just last offseason. And that is slightly more than Clayton Kershaw's $215 million contract with the Dodgers. Strasburg's contract, this is from Yahoo Finance, actually. Okay. So this is getting into some of this stuff here. His contract is the 18th largest for any player. Based on the average annual value of $25 million per year, Strasburg is tied for 11th among the richest paychecks. However, this deal isn't exactly worth $175 million. The Nationals have made it a practice to defer money in big contracts. That is, the team likes to delay making payments to its highest paid players. Before the 2015 season, the Nationals signed Max Scherzer to a 7-year, $210 million deal.
Sure.
But he's getting paid half that money while he's under contract, and the remaining $105 million will come his way after the 7th year.
Really?
When he may not even be on the Nationals.
Wow, I didn't realize.
Accounting for the deferred dollars, the present day value of Scherzer's contract was calculated by MLB at $191.
Okay.
So in other words, $105 million in 7-8 years is, not going to be as expensive.
Absolutely.
As the revenues continue to grow. So the same thing for Strasburg.
Okay.
$70 million he'll get paid from 2024 to 2030, and the rest of it will be paid as he's actually pitching.
Worry about the issues later, right? And if you're Major League Baseball, this is a cool little way of figuring out how to afford the guys that are making a lot of money on your team. Now, the Nationals and teams in baseball are making a lot of money. I'm not here to defend the players and or the teams, because I understand they're all making money here. But it is a way that as we continue to go, I mean, Carp, 10 years ago, the TV contracts were nothing what they are now.
No.
So you have to assume in 10 years, the TV contracts are going to be nothing like they are now. And it's a situation where they'll feel like they have more money then to be able to counterbalance and to pay off guys like this, although of course, salaries will continue to rise.
Yeah.
The thing that just blows my mind is a guy like Steven Strasburg, who's had injury problems. And of course, he's the guy, the famous guy. They shut him down in the playoffs. And
was that 2 years ago? 2014?
Like it was like 3 years ago, wasn't it? I think that was the Pete Cosma series where
2013.
I think 13, when the Cardinals beat the Nationals, and really the Nationals were the favorite to win it. And Strasburg, they decided to shut him down. And did it cost? I don't know. I mean, the Cardinals. That was a big series for them, and they won the series and went on to the World Series. But I agree, it's just one of those situations where this is a kid you've had a little arm problems with, but it's the going rate. And he's obviously a heck of a pitcher. So the Nationals understand that with Scherzer and Steven Strasburg, you've got two of the best young pitchers, not young, but two of the best pitchers in baseball.
Now, of course, he has had that injury history you've talked about. This article mentions the other issues he's had with his shoulder and oblique injuries through the last couple seasons.
Okay.
But there is an opt-out clause. This is for Strasburg, a player opt-out clause. The same thing is found in David Price's 7-year deal with the Red Sox. And this would be after the third or fourth year, Strasburg would be able to opt out and go test the free agent market and get a larger deal if something was out there like that. So,
and that's something Jason Hayward did with the Cubs. He has an opt-out clause as well with the Cubs.
Right. So there's something to consider for the Cubs as they are going after Jake Arrieta, and trying to figure out how much money is he actually worth. Is there any such thing as a hometown discount? Well, as we see here, maybe there actually is a way. Strasburg apparently enjoys it out in Washington, but that opt-out clause is good for the player, but if he underperforms or if he gets hurt, well, then, the Nationals are still on the hook for this thing. There's no team option in this.
No.
And I don't think any player would sign a deal where there would be a team option.
And that's the thing. It seems like sometimes you see a contract that you feel like it slants towards the team. Sometimes it slants towards the player. Like Matt Holliday, for instance, is going to have a team option next year of quite a bit of money. And essentially he's either going to make like $17 million a year if the Cardinals opt to keep him, or the Cardinals can pay him like $1 million to go away.
Exactly.
And so a lot of times it kind of factors in and weighs in on both player and team. Look, it's a big business, man. It's a big business trying to figure out these contracts. And it's one of those situations, Carp, when you've got a kid that is one of the best at his position, especially a pitcher, you've just got to dole out the money, and the Nationals understood this.
I think in the 4 o'clock hour we can delve into the Bryce Harper thing.
Okay.
I don't know if it's something we can contain into a couple of minutes, but yeah, the Nationals, if they aren't playing the Cubs, they're great.
Absolutely.
And they had another win last night, and it was, just to kind of give you a little context before we talk about Bryce Harper later, it was a 5-4 victory for the Nationals. It was a walk-off home run in extra innings. Bryce Harper, though, was ejected in the 9th.
Yeah.
And then he came back out for the celebration, and then there was a profanity-laced...
had a few choice words for the
umpire as the team was celebrating. So he is definitely the anti-hero of Major League Baseball. The question is, who likes him, who doesn't like him, and why do the people that like him like him? Why do the people that get annoyed with him get annoyed with him? A lot of that unwritten rule stuff we've talked about before with baseball, I think it applies to him.
Without a doubt. And I did hear, just so you understand, I heard this coming in with the Russillo and the Russillo show that precedes us essentially. And I normally never take a topic they're talking about and forward it over, but I actually wanted to talk to you about that with regards to Harper, even against the Cubs being walked so much. And I know a lot of fans had issues with the intentional walks, and so it's just a couple of things we can throw out there and we can roll on. But when we come back, Dan Hayes, CSN Chicago, he covers the Chicago White Sox, the best team right now in the American League.
No joke.
And the two best teams in baseball reside in Chicago.
Yeah.
2.5 to 3 hours away, which is pretty cool if you're a White Sox and Cubs fan. So when we return, we'll visit with Dan Hayes. Don't forget at 5:40 today, Sahadev Sharma from The Athletic will get his take on those red-hot Chicago Cubs. Dan Hayes is next. It's the Tay and J Show.
We know how much you love your car. Protect your ride with AutoGuard from Pekin Insurance and your local independent agency. AutoGuard picks up where other policies fall short, offering trip interruption coverage, key replacement, tire protection, accidental airbag deployment coverage, and more. All for just $20 per year per vehicle. Call your local Pekin Insurance agent or visit www.pekininsurance.com to put their beyond the expected services to work for you with AutoGuard.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Tuesdays can't get any respect. Every week it's, I can't believe it's only Tuesday. No one ever asks, how was your Tuesday? But now there is something exciting about Tuesday. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Get an extra $10 off our lowest sale price on an AC Precision Tune-Up. That means you'll get a $79 tune-up for only $69 when you book online today at chiefbauer.com. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Take that Saturday.
Hey, Scott Johnson here at Champaign Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, where you can save thousands on new and pre-owned vehicles. At Champaign Chrysler, we have over 400 new and pre-owned vehicles in stock, something for every style and budget. Right now at Champaign Chrysler, it's the Drive and Discover event. If you're looking for that mid-size sedan, the 36 miles per gallon Chrysler 200 is for you. Get 0% financing for 84 months or $5,000 total cash. For you truck owners, right now, get $5,000 total cash on select 2016 Ram light-duty quad cabs and over $4,500 total cash on select Ram light-duty crew cabs. Don't forget about the Jeeps. Right now, earn up to $3,500 total cash on select Jeep Grand Cherokees and $3,500 total cash or 0% financing for 75 months plus $1,000 on all 2016 Jeep Cherokees. If it's a minivan you're looking for, the brand new 2017 Chrysler Pacifica is here. It's the Drive and Discover event going on now at Champaign Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram. Online at ChampaignChrysler.com or visit the awesome sales team in person, 1906 Moreland Boulevard. But remember, tell them Scott sent you. Champaign Chrysler, where we make buying a car easy.
All right, it's U2 Day. Lon Tay, Mike Carpenter. I actually wanted Billy Joel today.
We can do Billy Joel Wednesday.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah. Billy Joel, I told you guys, I'm kind of a closet Billy Joel guy.
Mm-hmm.
And
we said there's no shame in that.
Right. Austin, our producer, was like, why are you a closet Billy Joel? I'm like, maybe that's not the right word. I'm a secretive Billy Joel guy. I don't seek the songs out when they're on.
Yeah.
I'm like, I like this Billy Joel song.
No, I mean, you could say I'm a closet Barry Manilow fan. Right. I'm a closet Boz Scaggs fan. Well, Boz Scaggs actually had a good album.
Pretty solid.
Agrees, but
Skid Row, maybe.
Yeah, so we got another text, of course, from our friend Cliff in Urbana. Music always gets worse on the show when Carp is around.
I don't get it with you, too. I don't...
Why people dislike you two?
Yeah,
I don't get it either. They're great. They're a great band.
They're not one of my favorites. Don't get me wrong, but
it's not exactly offensive to the ears.
No.
Yeah.
I think that's good, solid.
Yeah,
music.
I'm telling you, they have their albums. They got a lot of good albums for a band that's been around 30 years.
I agree with you. So I don't know. I don't understand it, but a lot of U2 haters out there.
Well, let's figure out if Dan Hayes from CSN Chicago. What do you think about U2?
Dan Hayes, you a U2 guy?
Oh, yeah. I've seen him a couple times. So I saw him last summer. I have not seen Billy Joel, although after I would prefer to see early Billy Joel versus the late Billy Joel mix. So not a We Start the Fire kind of guy, more early Joel.
And that's fair. That was actually part of our conversation, that he kind of has run the gamut on the way he performs and the kind of songs he brings. But I'm with you there. I'd rather go back to the bottle of red, bottle of wine. Didn't he just play Wrigley? Was that last year?
I think he was last year. Yeah, I missed it, though. We were on the road somewhere, I'm sure. So
yeah, Dan Hayes is never home. He's always away covering baseball. In fact, I think I was up at my brother's sitting on his rooftop, and we could see the lights, and so it was during baseball season, and that's why you were on the road.
And Dan, last summer had to be a slog for you, so how refreshing it must be to sit here on May 10th of the 2016 season and actually not just have an interesting team or an intriguing team, but a legitimately good baseball team to follow the entire summer.
Yeah, and it's funny. Last season ended with helping out on the Cubs playoff beat a little bit. And it was fun to be around baseball that was enjoyable for the first time in a couple of years, and it's actually carried over. I mean, the White Sox had it in spring, and it's springtime, and you don't put a lot of stock into those games, but it's funny. There have been two teams that I've covered, and this is my 10th season. There have been two that were really, they put an emphasis on spring because they wanted to change the kind of culture of things, and you could see it. And the other one was the 2010 Padres. They, of course, won 90 games, finished 2 out of first place, but were playing for a first place tie on the final day of the season.
Nice.
But they, I mean, it's been outstanding baseball from start to finish, and it's not because they're getting lucky. I mean, there is some of that, but I think that good teams get lucky. I mean, I think that good teams put themselves in a position where the luck falls in their favor more often than not because they play such sound baseball the rest of the way and wait. I remember the old Atlanta Braves when they were really going good and they had that great pitching run, and it was that the Braves just play well and wait for the other team to make a mistake. And I feel like we've seen that a ton with the White Sox this year already. And it's just they're catching the ball, and they're making big plays defensively when they need to. The Brett Lawrie double play last night in the 10th inning, it seemed like that game was over. And then 2 innings later, you run into Texas's probably weakest pitcher and hit a grand slam off of him. And
wow.
And, you outlast the other team, basically. And that's what the White Sox have done a lot of so far.
Do you think the Adam LaRoche saga, which, seemed like a pretty big distraction in the springtime, at least from afar, and you had a much better perspective than any casual viewer would have, but do you think there might have been some sort of unifying thing that occurred with this entire saga? Because, as silly as it might have sounded when Chris Sale was going off on Kenny Williams and things like that, I think that there might have been an opportunity there where all of a sudden that locker room, that clubhouse becomes a little more united, especially compared to last year.
Well, I think that it was building towards that anyways. These guys really appreciated each other early. And then, there was a good nucleus in there. And then all of a sudden, 10 days into camp, they add Jimmy Rollins in. And it's like, wow, we're really going for this, aren't we? And then 10 days after that, you add in Austin Jackson. And everybody was really buying into the system, I think. I think they knew they had some good players, and they just kept adding more solutions and reducing the amount of question marks they had. And to an extent, I think there was some of that with the LaRoche thing. It's very possible that it's sort of Kenny Williams looking for that Herb Brooks moment where as long as they're unified and disliking me, we have them going in the right direction. There may have been some of that to this, for sure. But I think this team would have gotten there anyways, and it just kind of accelerated things because, there's a lot of respect for each other. And I think it helped that guys that came in who maybe came in with these questionable pasts, guys who you wondered what was going on with them and why the White Sox would take a shot. And I'm speaking specifically on Matt Latos and Brett Lawrie, but they had guys that vouched for them in there. Deoner Navarro played with both those guys. And I think that when you have that familiarity, Deoner Navarro can say, look, he's just like this to everybody in there. This is just who he is about Brett Lawrie's energy. Just get used to it. I think that, he's a good player, that kind of stuff. That vouching for really goes a long way because people know, hey, if this guy's okay with it, maybe, I won't have such an issue and I can do this too. And I think that stuff matters. And so you had a clubhouse that really Rick Hahn did a good job investigating who he was bringing in. And it's really helped that they're winning. There's no question. I mean, that makes everything better. But at the same time, the formula was in place. The foundation was in place for this winning based off of how they kind of like each other.
Well said. Dan Hayes, CSN Chicago, covers the White Sox. Follow him on Twitter at CSN Hayes. I'm looking at a couple of stats, and I'm thinking to myself, just wait till Jose Abreu gets rolling. A low batting average for sure, but 5 homers, 21 ribbies, 327 OBP, but a 741 slugging. And then you look at a guy like Todd Frazier with 10 dingers and 27 home runs already. I mean, I guess those two in that middle of the lineup, that you're wanting the power, 15 homers between them. That's what you like to see. And you can look at a team like the Cardinals who don't seem to get much of that power, and you see how hard it is to score runs. I mean, that's huge when a guy like Frazier can end a game with a bomb like he did last night.
It is, and we saw last year with the White Sox. I mean, they hit 136 home runs last year, and it was the fewest that they'd had in a full season since 1991 or 92, and that year they hit 110. And look, you don't want to be home run driven. You don't want to solely depend on it, because you can run into pitchers that can shut that down. And we've seen Chris Sale be that kind of pitcher that can shut it down. But at the same time, having the home run in your back pocket to get you out of games. I mean, the Cubs have it with Javi Baez in the 13th the other day, and what a lift that is to have 6 or 7 guys that can end a game with one swing. And absolutely, the White Sox were missing that a little bit. And the thing I think Frazier really does, beyond just give you another bat, is it puts in pitchers' minds that fear that he can end a game. And so they might have to attack Abreu a little bit more. And, last night it was an intentional walk, but Abreu needs to be selective and make sure he's got to have that confidence that Frazier is going to be there to protect him. And he didn't have that last year with Adam LaRoche and Avisail Garcia. He had it a little bit, actually. It's funny. Adam Dunn struggled, but he still hit 34 home runs in 13, and pitchers knew how dangerous he was. He hit 20 home runs behind Abreu in 2014. And there's enough of a threat there that they had to pitch to Abreu more often. And I think that Abreu knew that. And so, as long as he's laying off stuff that's in the dirt and away, he's going to get his pitches to hit with Frazier back there. And we've seen Garcia started to pick it up a little bit too. And if they have 3 or 4 power threats in that lineup, this is going to be a really fun summer, because they just needed enough offense to get by, and they didn't have it last year. And they just have to be average with the pitching they have in the defense. So if it keeps going this way, it's going to be a very interesting summer. And I think it will. I mean, like you said, Abreu hasn't been very consistent. He had a nice 8 or 9 game run, but he just hasn't been himself so far. And he talked about that, having a similar season in 2009 playing in Cuba, and apparently his team, Cienfuegos, the Elephants of Cienfuegos, they made the postseason 8 straight years with him on the team. But in 2009, he had just a horrible early part of the season, and the team kept winning anyways, and he wound up hitting .399 with 30 homers, and they went to the playoffs, and he rebounded, and he thinks this is going to be a similar kind of year for him.
Dan Hayes from CSN Chicago. You can follow him on Twitter at CSN Hayes. And then, I was just thinking about, I think maybe 2-3 years ago, the bullpen was awful for the White Sox. And last year you saw improvement, but this year, it's been, pitching in general has been a strength. But talk a bit about the bullpen and any surprising names that have kind of emerged that maybe you had an inkling about in spring training, but have done really well in these first 6 weeks.
Well, I think Matt Albers jumps just to the top of that list. We saw him pitch great last year, but they weren't using him in a lot of high leverage spots early on. He had to evolve into that, and he got more trusted as the season went on, but he hadn't allowed a run since July 31st coming into the season and continuing that stretch. And I think they were confident. The thing that he's really good about is it's such a different look from Nate Jones, who throws at 95 and 99 and a slider that drops off the table. And, David Robertson has that cut fastball and curveball combo that's so lethal, but Albers is more of a sinker ball guy. And that's the thing I think why it works is you go from a sinker ball guy to the pure fastball guy to the curveball cutter guy. And it's just a great different look combo that really has worked. Dan Jennings last night was a good night. He's been a little inconsistent, but he's been on a nice run of late. I think he'll see some more trusted innings. Across the board, though, talking to a lot of the sabermetric guys coming in, they said, hey, look, this is a good bullpen. They have 7 guys who have project to have a league average or better ERA. And to hear that depth, that just lets you know. Putnam and Petrichka, neither of them has been fantastic so far, but both guys, they were the back end of that bullpen in 14, and they saved 15 of 21 combined between the two of them. So they have some experience, and when those are your fifth and sixth guys, and you got a bunch to fill in around it, you have to feel pretty confident out there. And last night they had a hiccup, and they still found a way to get through it, and Jennings came up with that huge double play ball, and they had Putnam to pitch the 12th, somebody that had experienced those last 3 outs before, and they get a win that probably a lot of people thought that game was over a couple times and that they were going to lose. So it's a strength without question, especially to back up a really good starting rotation.
Yeah, and that's huge, too, when the bullpen is so good and they accidentally blow one once and then the team picks them up. I mean, that just continues to add to that team unity that Dan Hayes talked about when we started. I've got one more for you, Dan. The White Sox are certainly jumping on the national scene here, and it's great. It's awesome. And our buddy Jeremy is just loving this. But the Cubbies are doing some good things as well across town. What is the dynamic like in Chicago? I mean, the Blackhawks are out of the playoffs. The Bulls didn't even make the playoffs. And for the last few years, except for last year with the Cubs, it's been one of those, I hope the Bulls and Blackhawks keep playing long because we got nothing to watch in baseball. Now you've got two unbelievable teams, the two best teams record-wise in the game. What is that dynamic like? What is it between Cubs and White Sox? What's that city like right now? Is it just a buzz?
It is without question. I still think most of that buzz goes to the Cubs,
sure.
And rightfully so. I mean, they made the NLCS last year, and they have so much young talent. I mean, they're a fun group, and that run differential is just, I mean, they make horror movies about how good they are compared to the rest of the league, right. And so it's well-deserved. But the White Sox have picked up some steam. I mean, you see people tuning in, you see the numbers on their ratings have gone up a ton, and people are paying attention because it's hard to deny how good they are. But I don't think the White Sox mind that the Cubs are the ones in the spotlight stealing it. I mean, I think they're a team that is content to play good baseball and just be there. And so, you know, their fans might want some more, but, you know, as long as they're there, this is the first time in 4 years we've seen a pulse really from this team. And I think that that's something to be content with. And if it keeps going all summer, it is going to be incredibly enjoyable. I mean, we had a Thursday here where it was, I think, 75 degrees. It was 83 at first pitch at White Sox. And,
awesome.
You know, it was just a beautiful day. And, of course, we followed it up with 50 and rain the next day. But, I mean, if you could imagine 2 weeks in a row of just great baseball being played where there's warm weather, I mean, this town's going to be pretty exciting to be around.
It's going to be fun
that summer.
I know a couple of years ago we came up, Carp and I and Jeremy, and did our show from the White Sox stadium, and we had a blast. And we just mentioned it this year. We need to do this again. Although they're so good now, they may say, "Who are you guys? We really don't need you up here." But if we do that, Dan Hayes, we'll have to have you on for sure. We always appreciate your input into the Chicago White Sox. And I think Carp said it best to start this interview. It's great for guys like you to be able to, you know, after the last couple of years, to experience this, get some winning. I mean, let's be honest, you're doing your job, you're a professional, but it doesn't hurt when you can do your job and also win some games and have some fun along the way. So,
people paying attention is never a bad thing, and going to the ballpark actually to talk to players that want to talk to you is never a bad thing. So,
Amen.
Agreed. But appreciate it for sure.
Well, Dan Hayes, we always appreciate it as well, and we'll do it again soon. I promise. We'll probably wear you out here as long as the White Sox keep winning. Is that cool?
Absolutely, for sure.
Thanks, buddy. Dan Hayes.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
You too. CSN Chicago. Follow him on Twitter at CSN Hayes. You said it best. Megan Montemurro was always one of my favorites.
Hey, the Phillies aren't terrible.
They're not
terrible,
year, but she covered both the Phillies and the Cubs and the White Sox when they were just horrible. And we would talk to Megan, and, I mean, we would try to think of questions to ask her because they were just horrible. Mm-hmm. And then she moves to Philly, and the Phillies become horrible. Yeah. And now the Cubs and White Sox, but she's awesome. She's still one of my favorites.
So, and we're going to be talking to Dan throughout the season.
This is going to be fun.
The White Sox are not going anywhere. Nope. With pitching like that, they aren't going anywhere. And Todd Frazier, 2 home runs last night. If that middle of the order starts hitting bombs, that is a very dangerous team. And they're already 23-10.
No doubt. It's awesome to see. All right, next hour, wide open. Your calls, 359-2255. We'll tackle this Bryce Harper situation. All you young kids out there, I want to talk baseball with you when we get back. It's the Tay and J Show.
Hi, it's Corey Mathis from Max Twin City Recycling. This year marks our company's 65th anniversary. Today, just like in 1950 when my great-grandfather started the company, Max Twin City is still family-owned and operated and striving to give you the best customer service in the area. We recently finished construction of our new building, making metal recycling cleaner and more convenient, and we still pay you the same great prices on steel, aluminum, brass, and copper. Come visit us on North Lincoln Avenue, just a half-mile north of I-74, or find us online at maxrecycling.com.
Bunny's Tavern, the best-kept secret in downtown Urbana since 1936. Come enjoy $13.50 mix and match domestic buckets 7 days a week. Enjoy Bunny's 10 big-screen TVs, whether you're inside or enjoying the summer weather. On Fridays, enjoy a dry battered or grilled cod sandwich all day and all night. With delicious daily lunch and dinner specials, Bunny's Tavern may not stay a secret for long. Come check out what people in Champaign-Urbana have been whispering about for over 75 years. Bunny's Tavern.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
You work hard. From the day-to-day operations of your farm to planning for the future, Busey's team understands the unique challenges you face. With farm management, brokerage, and financing solutions tailored to your needs, we can help ensure your hard work pays off, now and into the future. Visit Busey.com or stop by one of our many convenient locations for solutions to your banking and wealth management needs. Busey, your dream, our promise. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
And didn't prevail.
Ted Cruz says he's glad to get back to the Senate after seeming to suggest earlier today that he could restart his presidential campaign.
We've withdrawn from the campaign, and it is in the hands of the voters. If circumstances change, we will always assess changed circumstances.
Cruz, who remains on the ballot in Nebraska, says he doesn't expect to win there tonight. As GOP voters in Nebraska and West Virginia head to the polls, the presumptive nominee is narrowing his list of potential vice presidential candidates. Donald Trump tells the AP the field has shrunk to 5 or 6 experienced politicians. He also says he hasn't ruled out New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. Hillary Clinton is wooing women voters in Kentucky.
She unveiled a proposal today to limit child care costs to 10% of a family's income. Clinton would also like to boost pay for child care workers and expand a home visit program to reach out to low-income parents.
Fox's Mike Emanuel. Bernie Sanders is in California. Capital punishment is off the table in the case against the Libyan man charged in the Benghazi attacks. Fox's John Decker live in Washington.
The Justice Department says it won't seek the death penalty against Ahmed Abu Hatala, who is charged with taking part in the Benghazi attacks that killed a U.S. ambassador and 3 other Americans. Hatala was captured by U.S. Special Forces in Libya 2 years ago and then brought to the U.S. He's been awaiting trial in federal court here in Washington in connection with the September 2012 attacks on a diplomatic compound in Benghazi. Prosecutors have described him as a ringleader of the deadly attacks. If convicted, Hatala faces a sentence of up to life in prison. Pam?
Thanks, John. Big rally on Wall Street. The Dow soaring 222 points. You're on the Fox Report. Fair and balanced.
Sometimes what you want most from your car is nothing. No headaches, no surprises, no anxiety when it's late at night and you're on some distant freeway in a thunderstorm. Owning a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz can be that anxiety-free experience on every level. You know you're in one of the safest and most thoughtfully engineered vehicles on the road. And with an unlimited mileage warranty, you can drive as far as you want for up to 3 years, with roadside assistance included. Your sense of confidence and adventure are as unlimited as the warranty itself. Now you can drive the car of your dreams and realize that nothing is everything. And during the Certified Pre-Owned Sales event going on now through May 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services. Only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
Eager to heal old wounds, President Obama will become the first sitting U.S. president to visit Hiroshima, decades after the U.S. dropped an atomic bomb on the Japanese city.
I think what the president does appreciate is
that President Truman made this decision for the right reasons.
White House spokesman Josh Earnest says the visit later this month is not an apology, rather an effort to eliminate nuclear weapons. The White House also weighing in on the Facebook firestorm, the social media giant denying suppressing conservative stories on its trending section.
There's no denying that the kind of media environment that exists today places a special burden on consumers of news to make a concerted effort to seek out opinions that may differ from them.
Some Republicans want more of an explanation. They've sent a letter to Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg. Millions of people across the central part of the country are being urged to keep an eye on the forecast. Storms capable of spawning tornadoes could roar through central Texas to the Ohio Valley. It was another record-setting season for Stephen Curry, and he's once again the NBA's MVP.
Not only has he won the MVP award for a second straight season, he is the first player in NBA history to complete a sweep of the vote in the MVP. 131 votes in all, 131 votes for Steph Curry.
Fox's Jared Max, the superstar guard, plays for the Golden State Warriors. Bullying should not be considered just kids being kids. Federal researchers call it a serious health problem that should not be ignored. A new report says zero-tolerance policies may lead to an underreporting of bullying in schools. And a new poll indicating that more than 40% of America's baby boomers stayed with their employer for more than 20 years. In New York, I'm Pam Puso on Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service.
What did you need me to pick up?
Just a few things. CBS.
Milk?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's back by the pharmacy section.
Oh.
Cheap Hour. 3-day forecast. If you need an AC expert, you give Cheap Hour service experts a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at cheapbauer.com. Tonight getting down to 57, a chance of another thunderstorm, but that should be dissipating by about 8 or 9 o'clock this evening. Low of 57. Tomorrow looks really good. Sunny and 82 with a low of 64. A small chance of showers as we get in the overnight hours, but that will be done by Thursday morning on your commute to work.
Nice.
75 and sunny with a low of 52. Friday, by the way, looks incredible. Right now it's 70 and kind of sunny.
Yeah.
ESPN Radio.
Oh, this is not you too.
We got some more for later.
Okay. This would be Chevelle, of course. We all know that. It is the Tay and J Show.
U2 opens for him, I think.
Lon Tay and Mike Carpenter. I need to get acquainted. I about said acclimated. I guess either one would work, maybe. I need to get acquainted with today's music.
Well, I'd say you do, but I don't know how much you need to worry about that. I'm not that into today's music.
Well, what's the point where you get... What's the point in life where you get to the old age where you just don't worry about new music anymore and you just go with what you got? Does that make sense?
I'm already kind of there. Now,
okay.
I do, dabble.
Yeah.
Taste the different fruits of the music tree that are out there. There's a new Radiohead album that just came out on Sunday. They're a big band worldwide, one of the more relevant bands out there. Kind of out there for some people, but there's still certain acts that are current that when they release an album, it's a big deal for me.
Well, like Justin Timberlake, Jeremy and you.
I've yet to hear that song.
Oh, I haven't either because he's got a new one out, right? But you guys kind of got me into JT. So, hanging with you two, you kind of keep me young.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I'm an 80s guy. I do listen to some country.
That's fine.
I listen to about all genres. However, I do feel like I'm at that point where I'm like, I don't need any more songs in my repertoire.
Yeah, I get that.
Like, I'm kind of where I need to be in life, and I'm just going to roll with what I got.
I think for me, it's less about the number of songs and more about I know that these things or this genre or this kind of music that I'm trying to think of a good example. Okay, so on Pandora, I have Otis Redding radio.
Okay.
I have Rolling Stones radio.
Nice.
That just depends on the mood. And then you might get a song from Sam Cooke or something on Otis Redding radio where it's like, you know what? I need to listen to more Sam Cooke.
Right.
Go to Spotify, you listen to a bunch of Sam Cooke songs in a row.
No, that makes sense.
For me, it is more about discovering maybe some of the legends that I'm not as aware of.
Okay. No, that's
and
fair.
in the last year, I've been really trying to get more into soul music because there's something about an Al Green, Otis Redding, Sam Cooke, Marvin Gaye, Smokey Robinson, those guys.
Look at you just ripping them all. That's like an all-star team.
Right.
What's cool, too, is you have such an appreciation for music, obviously, being in a band and the lead singer, there is an appreciation there. So, but, for me, every once in a while, like this song will come out. Yeah. And I'm like, is it cool for me to like this song?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's got a good groove.
Okay.
They are playing, by the way, 21 Pilots.
Yeah.
The United Center.
Are they,
Actually, they're playing arenas
so they're
now.
big enough now to play the arenas?
I guess. I think they're huge for college students.
Ah.
You'll hear this on 107.1 a lot.
Right. Now, I hear songs like that Andrew and Lucas listen to now, and I'm like, what is that?
Like Fetty Wap?
I don't know. Maybe.
There is a lot of bad stuff out there, just like bad music. No, I don't mean vulgar. I mean, I mean objectively bad music.
Right.
But you know what? The thing is, there always has been. When we were heading to and from Louisville and then listening to XM Sirius,
right.
And they have 60s on 6, 70s on 7, things like that. And for every good song you get on 70s on 7 that you get kind of nostalgic for, like, hey, that's good,
I'm with you.
It's Captain and Tennille. It's like, that's
don't knock
not
Captain and Tennille, man.
I don't mean to, but it's not necessarily good music.
I know what you're saying.
Same thing with, I don't know, Seals and Crofts, something like that.
We are going to talk.
Bread. There was a band called Bread.
Well,
and that's a terrible name for a band.
There's only so many words in the English dictionary.
They sounded like their name. They were as interesting as bread.
Like wheat or white? I mean,
the whitest bread possible. These were 4 white dudes. They were all heavily bearded.
Sure.
Chest hair like Sean Connery from the James Bond movies.
They wanted to be ZZ Top, right?
No. They wanted to be 4 little miniature Barry Manilow's with facial hair.
Oh, no.
And the gold chain necklace and hairy chest. And
you're doing a good job
my parents had a Bread album.
Really?
Yeah.
Come on, Dennis.
I never checked out Bread. Not my thing. Little River Band.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Yeah, they were okay. Chicago.
Yeah, I like Chicago.
I have more of an appreciation for their early stuff.
Chicago
especially
would fit I'm kind of a closet Chicago guy.
No, that's fine, because here's the thing. Before, you would not have had to say that until Peter Cetera, their lead vocalist, decided, I'm just going to write a bunch of power ballads.
Oh, okay.
Before that, it was cool to like Chicago. They had a brass section. The musicianship was incredible, so that's cool. They're Rock and Roll Hall of Famers.
I'm trying to find the other day, and I tweeted this out, so you got to bear with me while I search my Twitter account.
Music related?
For some reason is not coming up right now. Yeah, and it was weird because I never sleep in.
Mm-hmm.
Anymore, I just don't sleep in.
I have a biological clock that says get up.
Right. And I think you get to a certain point where you're like, all right, I'm just going to get up and go. So the other day, though, I actually slept in till what I did is I woke up. Like it's 7 is a Saturday. Mm-hmm. So I wake up at 7 and I'm like, so I got nothing better to do. So I'm going to fall back to sleep and see what happens. So I woke up and I'm trying to find this as you go. But I tweeted out a lot about the Blues last night.
Yeah, I saw.
We'll have to talk about that as we go. Oh, here it is. I said, I never wake up and fall back to sleep, but I did this morning and just woke up humming Chicago's Glory of Love.
Huh.
And I'm like, why am I singing that? So I hashtag never sleeping in again.
Chicago Glory of Love. Let's check this out.
Okay, you're going to bring it up?
Is it a ballad?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if you'd call it. Maybe, yeah.
Now, I think it was actually maybe just Peter Cetera that did it.
Okay. I mean, it's a decent song. You let me know when you've got it ready.
Okay.
And we'll play it. I mean, I don't want to hurt people's ears.
I think I have it if you want to try potting it up here.
Yeah, this is it.
It's from you know what movie it's from?
Ghost.
Karate Kid 2.
Yeah, that's nice.
Oh, so lame.
I could do a little Cetera.
All right, now there's clips from the Karate Kid Part 2.
Oh. Is the one dude in it the teacher?
Pat Morita?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
He's walking with Ralph Macchio right now. Now back to Peter Cetera, a great perm. He has a fantastic perm right now.
This is a sports talk show. You got to get to the.
Okay.
Get to the. Yeah, here it is. It's good stuff, man. All right, so that's that. So I woke up humming that.
Wow.
And I haven't heard that song in 20 years. I'm like, why am I singing Chicago? I wasn't singing it, but I was humming it.
The Glory of Love. And it's Peter Cetera's first hit single. He went solo, remember?
Wow, that's right. That's right. So,
Man.
yeah. So Chicago, I guess, is that closet band I kind of enjoy.
Okay, well, and that's the thing. Up through 75, really good.
Right.
After 75, they tailed off. And I think their lead guitarist died in really tragic circumstances. And so that band, they're still around, though. They're playing the Virginia later this year.
Maybe that's what happened is I heard a commercial.
Yeah, so a seed is always planted. Like So was this in a dream before you woke up that this song came to you?
No, I think I just woke up humming it.
Woke up humming The Glory of Love.
And it's not like my alarm went off or radio went off and I was listening to it, so I don't know. It's funny for me, and we are going to talk sports this hour, I promise, because we're going to get to this Bryce Harper thing that I want to talk about. Next hour, Sahadev Sharma from The Athletic. We're going to talk some Cubs baseball with him. But when Carp and I get together, we like to go off on little tangents, and usually it's music because I appreciate how talented you are at music, and I want to know more about it. There's always, do you have one era, though, that you just don't like? Like 70s music. It was what we just played there. Was that song from the 70s, you think, that Chicago song?
That was from 86.
Okay, so 86. That makes more sense. The 70s music in general, it could leave, and I would never miss it.
You see, for me, though, that a lot of the great classic rock was in the 70s, but then around like 75, everyone was in such a cocaine-induced stupor that they were putting out a lot of crap.
Okay,
a lot of really bloated progressive rock with long run times, and the shows were these extravagant arena rock things, and they lost their soul.
Yeah.
They lost that. And then
they didn't have it.
Punk rock came around, and punk rock had a good place because that kind of re-injected some energy into some bands that needed it.
Yes, it did.
The 80s I like, and there's been a big comeback with the 80s.
I think you almost had to have been an 80s kid to enjoy the 80s.
Maybe so, but I think I have enough memories, a lot of Phil Collins in my nostalgia bank, and Genesis as well, anything Phil Collins or Peter Gabriel related. But
Def Leppard.
you know what? I could honestly probably do without the 90s. In hindsight,
the 90s really weren't that good.
I don't return to the 90s. I mean, Dave, the three good Dave Matthews Band albums, all 90s. Hootie and the Blowfish.
Hootie was good.
But other than that, that was a rough decade.
It really was a rough decade. I'm with you, and it was kind of one of those decades. Let's say I graduated college in 92, and then I started working and actually wanted to make a living, so I think I kind of gave up on the music scene for the most part.
You know what I think was the worst maybe 5-year period?
Was that like a Run DMC? That would have been...
Run DMC would have been 80s.
Oh, 80s?
80s.
Okay.
Yeah, they did the thing with Joe Perry and Steven Tyler.
Yeah, that was cool.
In 85, maybe?
Walk
Something
This
like
Way?
That. Yeah.
Yeah, that was cool.
I would say the worst 5-year period would be somewhere between like 99 and 2004.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I have nostalgia for some of those songs because that would have been middle school, high school. But that there just wasn't any great band that came out of that era. And I'm still waiting for the next great rock and roll band.
I'm trying to think back to, and I know you asked this once on a 5 at 5, like an old homecoming song and for me it was a junior high dance and it was Lady in Red.
You see, we never got to ours because there was a bullet on the floor of the Urbana Gymnasium, so they had to call it early. We never got to that homecoming song. But that was okay with me because I hate dances in general. You didn't have bullets on the floor at your Villa Grove homecoming?
No, we didn't.
Austin didn't have a bullet on his floor at the PBL homecoming dance?
I guess not. No.
Honestly, it was a godsend. I was like, some girls got in a fight and a bullet fell out of a purse, and then it's like, well, time to go home. House lights go up, and it's like 10:30, 30 minutes earlier than I thought I was going to have to stay at this stupid dance. And they were able to leave.
That is fantastic.
Yeah, it was pretty funny.
Oh, boy.
That was basically my high school experience in a nutshell. Like, I love Urbana. I really do.
Right.
I love this community, Champaign and Urbana and the surrounding. Like, I'm not moving anymore. This is my area. Let's be honest.
But that is kind of a funny story.
It is. And as much as I love Urbana, that was just one of those things where even if you live in Urbana, it's not that you have this sort of inferiority complex, but you sort of have an ability.
I get it.
You have an ability to laugh at the more kind of weird things about it. It's an eccentric community.
Sure.
You know?
Sure.
Champaign, I think, is more, you kind of know what Champaign is.
Right.
And you know the different groups that you know, are the collective of Champaign. But Urbana is a really ragtag group of,
Agree.
You know, we got that underdog mentality.
Right. And it's some cool places. Cool, really cool places in Urbana, including WSJK Radio.
Wow.
Which is the Tay and J Show.
And on this specific radio group, there's a sports station that talks sports on occasion.
On occasion. The Tay and J Show.
I'm okay with that because we're going to have a whole rest of the hour here because the Bryce Harper thing that we're going to talk about.
We're going to do that next segment.
That will necessitate a full segment.
What I'm going to do now, though, is talk about the Blues. because I have ignored the Blues now for an hour and 17, almost 18 minutes.
You must address it.
I must address it, and I'm not happy with my St. Louis Blues last night when they walked out onto that ice, and I mean walk. I don't even think they were skating. I think the first period they were walking on skates and just could care less. They could just kind of care less that we have a chance to wrap up this playoff series against the number one seed in the West in Dallas, and we have a chance to go on to the Western Conference Finals for the first time since 2001. We have a chance to end a series and get 3 or 4 extra days off because the Predators ended up beating San Jose to force a Game 7 there as well. So you had a chance on your home ice to get all of that accomplished, and you came out in the first period and literally just walked around. And Brian Elliott, who's been magnificent this entire playoffs, was horrible. He was giving up goals that don't need, well, I mean, a couple of them were tough stops, but he was making those saves before. He was lethargic. He gets pulled. Jake Allen comes in, did a good job. He only faced like 7 shots. But then in the second period, the Blues come out and they're like, hey, you know what? We're down 3-0 now. And we're on our home ice. It would be neat to give the guys a show. And all of a sudden, they start playing wonderful hockey. And then on the other end, Kari Lehtinen was just unbelievable.
Too little, too late.
It was too little, too late. The Blues had so many chances to even that score at 3-3 and to win that series. But Kari Lehtinen was good. Dallas is good. I don't think the Blues are that much better than Dallas, if they are at all, but they are when you don't come out and act like you want to win a game.
Sure.
And it was one of those situations where I'm like, is this me? But I had buddies texting me saying, what the, is going on here? And then afterwards you're hearing the commentators on the national scene going, boy, what are the Blues doing? Mm-hmm. And then on the local scene, St. Louis wise with Fox Sports Midwest, Bernie Federko's like, I don't know what the Blues were doing in that first period. Darren Peng saying the same thing. It's just frustrating, Carp, because it's almost as though, and I get it, you're going to have down periods and such, but the first period on home ice, when you know you could wrap up a series to go to the Western Conference Finals, and you come out like you're not, and you knew Dallas was going to come out strong. I mean, their backs are against the wall, so now you're ricocheted back to Dallas for Game 7 on Wednesday night. You've won 2 games already in Dallas if you're the Blues, so it's not as though you're worried sick about going there.
Yeah, but are you pressing your luck a little bit by having to go back and win what would ultimately be 3 out of 4 games at Dallas?
Which I said the same thing in Chicago. The Blues won those 2 games 3 and 4 in Chicago, and then lost whatever it was. I'm not going to recapture the series, but went back to Chicago for Game 6, and I'm thinking to myself, how hard is it to beat Chicago 3 times at their place? And now it's harder to beat Chicago at that place than it is Dallas down at their arena. However, you're asking now to win 3 games in Dallas in this series. And the Blues can do it. There's no doubt they can do it because they were easily the better team for the last 2 periods of that game last night. But it just kind of frustrated me.
Well, it has to be frustrating because I think we all understand with all the sports that we've watched that certain times in a season, your team's going to come out and just be flat.
Right. No, that happens.
Something's not going to be right. But whenever it happens in a game of import like that, and you just said it right there, this was a chance to move on to the Western Conference Finals at home. If the second period were a bit lethargic after you took a 1-0 lead or something,
right? You'd understand.
Okay, maybe, but
you'd understand.
But to give up 3 goals in 1 period and immediately be so far behind the 8 ball against a team that defensively, on and off. Obviously, they gave up 6.
They've been solid.
Right.
Yeah.
They gave up 6 goals one game and 4 another to the Blues. But
it was weird. It was just a weird thing. And
does it shake your confidence a bit?
It did. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. It shook my confidence. I think it does, and it should for the Blues. And hopefully, maybe that's what they need.
Yeah.
And Troy Brouwer was horrible last night. He's been unbelievable the entire series. Vladdy Tarasenko the entire game. I'm just like, what are you doing? Control the puck. He's so weak with the puck on his stick, and he's normally not like that. You know what it felt like to me? It felt like Game 20 of a regular season. I'm at home on a random Monday night, and the Blues are on, and I'm eating dinner. Mm-hmm. And I'm just kind of not really into it because it's the regular season and it's Game 20.
And then it hits you that, oh, wait, this isn't just some game.
And that's what it felt like to me. And a couple of my buddies, as we're watching this, I'm sitting there myself going, I can't even get into this. And they've got a chance to win it. I think there has been a little bit of a hangover effect from the Chicago series, not only for the Blues, but for us fans, because it meant so much to beat the Chicago Blackhawks. This is almost like the Cubbies last year when they beat the Cardinals. And it really was in the sense that you beat the Cardinals, and it feels like such an accomplishment, and that's what it felt for the Blues this year to beat the Blackhawks. And then it's like, oh, wait a minute. We still have a lot of games to go. And then I'll close with this. And this is the funniest part. I've got a underwriter I deal with in the insurance business that's a huge Hawks fan. So I call him this morning about something different. And he's like, are we talking hockey? And I'm like, yeah, we can talk hockey. And he's like, what's going on? So I go through all this, and I'm just throwing out, all the stuff I just did to you, spewing this just
vitriol.
Yeah,
you weren't that you weren't that angry though.
No, but I kind of am. I was a little bit with that first period. I liked how they bounced back. Mm-hmm. But I told him, I said, now we got to go win a game 7. And that is hard on me personally, on my body. Like, I am tense for 3 hours watching a game 7.
It's like playoff baseball, which as a Yankees fan, I won't get anywhere close to that this year. But when they were making it every year, it's true that in the playoffs, whenever your team is in it, these 7-game slogs, which is what they are. And to think that, you're already, no matter what, if you win game 7, you will have played the max amount of games through 2 series. Right. Heading in the Western Conference Finals. Yeah. Now, I don't know the amount of games that the potential opponent in the Western Conference Finals
played almost equal.
Okay.
So nobody's getting
fine.
a huge advantage there.
Yeah.
And same on the other side in the East, except for Tampa Bay, who's rolling. But you're right. And I told him that. I said, physically, I can't handle this. And he's like, well, guess what? You only have 9 more wins to go to win a cup.
Well,
Think about that.
I know.
9 more. It's the hardest trophy to win in sports.
But there is something to be said about, on one hand, you enjoy watching a team throughout the season and you don't want it to end, right?
No, you don't.
But on another hand, when it gets in the playoffs, you want them to win it in the fewest amount of games possible because as much as you enjoy watching them, you hate watching them lose a playoff game and then have to face the possibility of an elimination game.
It's funny. It's funny. Okay, last thing, because it's funny you brought that up, and that's what we were talking about. If you guaranteed me that the Blues in June would be holding the cup.
Exactly.
If you guaranteed me that David Backes is going to kiss that cup and skate it around Scottrade in June, and I'm going to be just crazy in Philo, Illinois, or wherever the heck I am, maybe down in St. Louis watching it. If you guaranteed me that, then I'll take 7-game series this entire time. Because it's entertaining me, and especially when the Cardinals are not at 500, this is giving me entertainment. Like tomorrow night, I got a big game to watch.
Yeah.
But you can't guarantee me that.
Well, but there's another thing, too, and this is going to sound so selfish, but as a Yankees fan, there were certain times, I think it was 2013 maybe, where they were in the ALCS against Detroit, but they couldn't hit the entire playoffs. And by the end of it, I just wanted it to end.
You wanted it done. I remember that.
I wanted it to end.
A-Rod was hitting like 080.
Because it's a time commitment.
Right.
But the difference being, though.
And a late one sometimes.
This is a very likable Blues team that has the ability to win it all.
It is.
So this is not, okay, guys, wrap it up for the sake of time.
Right.
It's wrap it up so you don't have to face an elimination game on the road.
And I'm not one of those that's going to say same old Blues if they lose this series. I'm not going to say that because in my mind, you've played a really tough team in Chicago, now a really tough team in Dallas that won the division. But the point is you had a chance to wrap up Game 6 at home. Now you got to go do it on the road. If they lose that one, that's just going to stink. And it's going to come back to first period of Game 6 when you sloth your way through a 3-0 deficit and then decided to start playing hockey. So, there.
Yeah.
That's my Blues take.
Well done.
We went from music
Peter Cetera to the St. Louis Blues.
You never know what you're going to get with us.
No.
You just don't. If you'd like to weigh in on any of that or just literally move forward, like I'm going to take a move forward here and play a commercial?
Well, I tell you what, we will have Bryce Harper discussion after much teasing, but we would, as we get in this next segment, like to hear from you. You can always call the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line or text the Cheap Hour text line, same number, 217-359-2255. That's 359-CALL.
I want to know, do you younger people out
you
there,
whippersnappers,
and I'm 45, so you don't have to be much younger, and even if you're older, you can weigh in, obviously. Do you like this? In fact, more importantly, do you need a guy like Bryce Harper to make baseball exciting? Now, this is a little strange because our area's got the Cubs, and everybody's excited about the Cubs.
Do you need superstar personalities like him?
Like him to be, like he is. Like he's a little bit arrogant, well, a lot arrogant. Do you need that? And I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just asking you. 359-2255. We will discuss next. It's the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
Jeff Curry comes off the bench, pressed into service. They were going to bring him off the bench all along, but pressed into service because Sean Livingston inexplicably and bordering on inexcusable.
No, not bordering. That's inexcusable. He's a veteran in this league. He knows Steph is coming, and he's filled in brilliantly for Steph. He's a veteran. Arguing a call, you get teed up twice, because you thought you were fouled for a guy who's coming back in who you're playing for the first time in a number of games. They want to work him back in. They wanted to play him about 25 minutes in this game, and you get tossed for arguing a call. It's one thing you argue, you get teed once, but you kept at it, got teed twice, and got tossed from the game. No. That's inexcusable for a veteran.
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio.
It's spring. Bugs are at the door, and they're not knocking. The Home Depot has a smarter answer with Ortho Home Defense Max 1-gallon ready-to-use insect killer at a new lower price of just $6.97. It lays down a bug barrier that keeps them from coming in, killing insects and their eggs for up to 12 months. Bring on spring with Ortho Home Defense Max 1-gallon ready-to-use insect killer to $6.97 now at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
O'Reilly. Save on your next oil change when you purchase 5 quarts of Pennzoil conventional motor oil and a MicroGuard filter for $22.99. Or upgrade to Pennzoil high mileage and a MicroGuard filter for $23.99. Save big with Pennzoil oil and filter specials at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Better parts, better prices every day. Limits apply. See store for details.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Thank spring and go green with e-statements or an Earth checking account from the Prospect Bank. The Earth checking account can be opened with just $25. There's no monthly service charge, and you get e-statements, so it's Earth friendly. In fact, all of the Prospect Bank's accounts offer e-statements. Find out how easy it is to grow with your bank. The Prospect Bank, a division of Edgar County Bank and Trust Company. Online at theprospectbank.com. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Hey, a tax refund is more than just extra cash in your pocket. It provides a nice opportunity to make an impact on your financial well-being. Let the team at Busey Wealth Management help guide you with expert advice and innovative products and services. Did you know, Mike Carpenter, the average refund is more than $3,000? And while most people plan to pay down debt, many will use it for basic necessities and to boost their savings. Well, you can put your tax refund to work for you, and Busey is there to help. Enhance the diversification of your existing retirement portfolio. How about build your retirement savings with a traditional IRA or Roth IRA? You can also pay off bad debt. Busey will help. Visit their resource center at Busey.com. Busey Wealth Management provides the support and resources you need to help achieve your financial goals. Visit any Busey location. Call 1-800-67-BUSEY or visit Busey.com.
This hour of the Tay and J Show brought to you by Legends Golf Course and Driving Range. Check out their new golf shop. 8 TVs, new tables and chairs for relaxation after time on the course, and all your favorite snacks and drinks served daily. That's Legends Golf Course and Driving Range.
All right, it is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Mike Carpenter. We are going to talk sports, I promise, the rest of this hour. And we're asking you to weigh in at 217-359-2255, 217-359-2255. I'm big enough to admit this. Mm-hmm. I heard the topic driving in on Russillo and Cannell. They were talking about Bryce Harper, and last night Bryce Harper was booted from the game. And then there was arguments coming from the dugout. This is all coming from Austin, our producer, which I appreciate him filling me in. So the umpire looks at Harper and says, "You're gone. You're out. You're just gone." Well, then the Nationals later hit a walk-off homer. Harper comes back onto the field to celebrate, which I didn't know was legal. If you've been booted out, I didn't think you could even come back.
But is the game technically over at that point?
Yeah, I guess. No, not till he hits home plate.
Okay.
I guess if he doesn't touch home plate.
Right.
But anyway, I mean, that's micro there. But so he comes out and just absolutely goes on a profanity lace at this umpire. And so my question is, Bryce Harper's a kid, Austin, that is unworldly talent. I mean, the guy has unbelievable talent and is just one of those that can lead baseball for a long time. You have certain eras where certain players absolutely pick up baseball and carry it, and you've got this with Mike Trout, you've got this with Bryce Harper. I am not picking sides here. You know me. You know my unwritten rule. If Bryce Harper wants to do this, if he wants to show up a pitcher, I, in my era, would go with the idea that that's fine. Mm-hmm. You can do that as much as you want. And you and I and Jeremy, he always laughs at me, but we've had these conversations before. Who did the bat flip? Was that Batista in Toronto?
That was, yes.
So if you want to do that, that's great. That's great that you do that. Don't get mad, though, when the next pitch is a 90-mile-an-hour fastball right in your ribs, okay? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people then will look at me and say, well, come on, Lon, add some excitement to the game of baseball.
Which, in a way, you're kind of saying, hey, I like the brush back at the plate, sure, which is excitement.
So to me, it's kind of so all I'm saying is that's fine. If you want to have some fun, if you want to show up a team in whatever way you're going to do it, then you get drilled, don't get mad. Don't get mad. Don't flip your bat.
I will say real quick on the getting drilled idea.
Okay.
In the National League, I think that plays. I've always thought it's one of the stupidest things in the American League.
It's a great point.
The pitcher is protected, doesn't have to go back up there. I think it's just complete stupid macho crap that really is... that doesn't entertain me in the American League. Okay. But if it's a National League thing and the pitcher brushes you back, well, guess what? That pitcher needs to face whatever comes to him afterwards. But this whole tit-for-tat thing, like that hasn't ever done it for me as much as these sort of anti-heroes. Right. Now, back in the day, Barry Bonds, everyone disliked... but respected. It was kind of a weird thing, right? And even when he was roided up, everyone kind of knew, well, he's just a special talent. Yep. So I think it's the same thing where there's a lot of people that dislike Bryce Harper, but they respect his game. Mm-hmm. It's impossible not to respect his game.
I do. I mean, I totally respect
And he could be. Here's my thing. If this were an attitude without anything to back it up, then it would be something where it's like, no, I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to see it. But when I look at Major League Baseball and I look at the young talent that is in this league, which is there's a lot of young stars, and Mike Trout and Bryce Harper are the brightest of those two stars. The Cubs are just loaded with these kinds of guys that are likable, and they don't do this stuff.
No, they don't.
But they at least have personality. Baseball's problem has always been, though, think about Derek Jeter.
Yep.
Now, if he were a San Diego Padre...
He's boring.
He's very boring.
He's boring.
He always has been boring.
He earned your respect
by not
winning.
doing anything interesting.
That's correct.
Except
he just did everything
going
right.
out with really attractive models and then finding that in page 6 of the New York Post.
He just went out and played the sport he loved and did it as well as anybody.
Which is very respectable, but it is entertainment.
It's right.
And for me, the whole difference between amateur, quote-unquote amateur sports and professional sports, and why I side more with professional sports, is I don't have the same moral quandary about, well, is it just entertainment or not?
Good point.
It is just entertainment.
Good point.
You're paying to go to the games. You're paying your cable provider to get these games on your television set. And if you're really into that team, you're watching it and hoping to get some sort of entertainment value out of it. He provides that in spades.
There's no doubt.
But what he provides more than his on-field shenanigans is incredible ability and incredible production.
Absolutely.
So for me, he's an anti-hero in a way that he is kind of, going against the grain when it comes to these unwritten rules in baseball. But he's so good that he can get away with it.
Okay.
A guy that was he used to play for Niger Morgan, right?
Oh, yeah, Niger Morgan.
Everyone hated him.
Oh,
and he was a bad baseball player.
Yeah, the Cardinals just hated that.
And they should have.
Yeah.
Because he was a bad baseball player that raised a ruckus for no reason. Yep. Bryce Harper, I have yet to see too many things, apart from the Jonathan Papelbon thing last year, but everyone hates. He honestly, Bryce Harper won a lot of stripes with me going after Jonathan Papelbon.
Right, correct.
But for the most part, what he's doing is not directly against anyone. Okay. Last night was an exception as he went on an F-bomb tirade 2 and up. And that is not cool.
No, it's not.
But everything else that I've seen hasn't necessarily bugged
you. Okay, no. and so my question is, and again, I'm not taking sides. I don't mind Harper. I don't know that I need to see what happened last night. And again, I don't mind if he does his things. Just I don't want him or anybody to get mad if he gets drilled with a fastball. So we had a couple of texts here on the Chief Bauer text line, and this is kind of what I'm wanting to see and kind of what I expected. One of them says, yes, we do need a Bryce Harper to make baseball fun again. The season's very long. Well, it's always been long. And no one really pays attention to the standings until it gets to the playoffs. If we had more to talk about, maybe baseball would get more attention from the younger generation. That's fair. And again, I'm not ripping him for saying that. That's fair. And maybe the younger generation, you guys have so much more than I had at the age of 21, let's say, to pay attention to. You have so many things you can do. You can watch Netflix. We had to go rent a video.
I remember
pay for a video.
I remember the Blockbuster
or
days.
even you guys. So there is a lot of difference with regards, and that's just one example. Back then, you didn't get every Cardinals game, and now you get a lot of them. And I'm going to bring Austin in as well because he is, I'm 45, you're 28?
29.
29, and then Austin is 14.
14 years old.
14 years. Well, how old are you, Austin?
22.
22. So we've got a nice little mixture here of what we're looking at. The next text said, Bryce Harper is like Donald Trump. He's too cocky and has an attitude that young kids should not imitate. So
real quick on that.
You've got both. You're hearing both ways there.
I get that point, but I think that's false equivalency. Comparing an athlete to a politician.
You're right.
Unless we want to agree that politics are entertainment, which we could very well make the case for this year.
Except
and Donald Trump being an example.
Country, yeah.
Right, yeah. There's the ramifications.
A little more importance of that.
Right. The ramifications of Bryce Harper being a little more flamboyant on a baseball field are pale in comparison to the ramifications of who the next president might be.
So here's my question to you, Austin. I'm going to bring it like this. Would you rather Chris Bryant be like Chris Bryant is now, which I think is a kid that doesn't do this kind of stuff. He doesn't flaunt, I don't think. Or would you rather him, for entertainment purposes, be like Bryce Harper? And it's not bad to say either one. So which would you choose?
I mean, I can't really choose one or the other. I think both are needed to create balance. You can't have everybody acting like Bryce Harper because then it would become a circus.
Right,
right. But I think one guy in a locker room isn't that bad.
Okay.
Because if you look back in the 80s, like George Brett, whenever he had his tirade
with the pine tar,
that is one of the most baseball's most memorable moments.
That's a great point.
You don't hear anyone saying, well, that George Brett, how come he is so cocky?
He
and
has
why
no
is he doing
class.
this? Yeah.
That's a great point, Austin.
It is. Wow, what a cool guy doing that. Look at him go.
He's a competitor.
Yeah, and I always go with the Sports Center theory. What is Sports Center talking about?
Yeah.
When you have two segment blocks of Bryce Harper conversation, that's
call.
Baseball in the front of people's minds.
Yep, that's exactly right.
Instead of Steph Curry, unanimous MVP, NFL injury news, whatever, in May. So that's the way I look at it. You got to have a balance of both. But I love Bryce Harper. I think he's a great guy for the sport. This overshadows a story that whenever he was in Wrigley on Mother's Day,
right,
he gave a jar of money to a homeless woman.
Oh, that's cool.
So I mean, it could be a show on the field, but I think he genuinely is a good guy. And he said that he would accept the fine, whatever it was, and. He said maybe the umpire should get fined too.
Okay.
I mean, that's fun.
I love that.
That's a little cocky, a little hilarious.
I like how he throws that in there too. It's like, I'll accept the fine. I mean, maybe he should get fined too.
Yeah, it's almost like you're accepting your punishment, but you want to say something on the way out.
So I'm extremely pro Bryce Harper. I'm not like Goose Gossage, who had his tirade at the beginning of the year on these young kids don't know what true baseball is.
And he was on the 77-78 Yankees, and they had plenty of personality on that team. And they weren't as dull and boring. And this is, well, I take that back. I was about to say that the Yankees of the late 90s were dull and boring. By comparison,
Scott Brocious was boring.
He was. Paul O'Neill was not.
Right.
Paul O'Neill did the same thing. He would take a bat to the water cooler if he didn't, if he had a bad bat or if there was a bad call or something like that. And it was like, oh, we love that grittiness and everything like that. I mean, I'm sorry. I view it as entertainment. Now, we did get a text here, Lon. I want to pose this to you. From
and
Mitch.
By the way, that was a great take.
Yes.
That was a great take, Austin. That was awesome. And bringing up George Brett, that's fantastic.
And that's an apt comparison, too, the George Brett thing.
Very.
Mitch and Atwood texted in, Lon, if Andrew Tay grew up to be a pro and carried himself like Harper, would that make you proud? Hashtag no wrong answer. Mitch Matwood. And I think that's interesting, but what's your initial?
It would not make me proud at all.
Okay.
I would not want to know that everybody around the country is having issues with him or maybe having issues with my son because of the way he's acting.
Because Lon's, Andrew has a bit of a swagger to him.
He would be Bryce Harper, I think, if he could.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know that he's going to be that talented. It'd be great.
Hey, he's young.
I guess if he's paying my mortgage and all that, I'll let him do what he wants.
He can do whatever he wants.
But no, to the point, no, I wouldn't. I would rather him be Chris Bryant, who you don't ever really hear anything about. And that isn't to say, again, I'm not taking sides, although that would indicate I'm taking sides here. I get it that Bryce Harper is like he is, and I get it, like for what Austin said, it's great for the game. It's great for the game, and it's great for interest, and that's what we've had a couple of texts about. But I just thought about that today, and I just thought to myself, do you need it? In other words, do young people, Austin, this is a hard question to ask right now because your Cubs are unbelievable, and that's all you want to think about every minute of the day, and I don't blame you. If the Cubs stunk like they did 2-3 years ago, would you need Bryce Harper acting like he does to enjoy baseball, or could you enjoy it without it?
I mean, I was always a baseball fan. Like, I put that in air quotes. I respected the game. I enjoyed watching it every now and then, every Saturday on WGN. But the thing is that I needed fantasy baseball to really kick me into gear last year, and the Cubs just being good just really propelled me.
Yeah, now you could care less about anything.
Yeah, but if I would be watching a Washington Nationals Detroit Tigers game in the middle of May, I'd be like, all right, what NBA playoff game is
right.
on? But now I'm like, I'm entrenched in
right.
baseball.
I wonder what Harper's going to do today.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a great take.
It's the Happy Gilmore effect.
It really is,
because that whole movie that there's that cute blonde girl that's the PR person for the PGA, and she goes in, and the head of the PGA is like, "Well, this isn't good for the game." She's like, "No, it's actually great for the game.
It's great for the game."
Now that he's not punching out Bob Barker on the field or anything like that, but he is doing enough to, for some reason, offend people.
Yeah,
baseball, I think, is the only sport where this would happen.
There's no doubt. I think that's true.
Golf too, but let's be honest. I mean, that has a lot of boring personalities.
There's things in there that police themselves, and that's a whole other topic. But hockey has things you police. You don't mess with the other goalie, or you're going to get your butt beat.
For team sports, I guess for team sports, baseball has so many more written rules and unwritten rules, I should say, than anything else. And there's a level of decorum and way that you need to act. That if you don't, then you're going to get beaned. Which again, I don't have a problem in the National League, and Bryce Harper will probably get his comeuppance.
Absolutely.
But, I just don't. There's nothing he's done that really bothers me.
Bryce Harper's going to make a lot more money and already has than the three of us combined. Right? So he could go out and do what he wants. I've got one other text from Rob. I'm 23, love the game of baseball. Bryce Harper does add that new excitement. However, if I were to act like that when I was in the military or my job now, I wouldn't have a job. A little bit of arrogance makes the Bryce Harper saga way more interesting. So it's fair. It's fair. And again, listen, we're talking about it.
We're talking about Washington Nationals baseball in Champaign-Urbana. But I think it just speaks to a larger thing about baseball more than any other sport, where the superstars, and there was a little lag period there. When Derek left, Derek Jeter was the last one. I mean, I'm sorry, he was a boring superstar.
No, I'm with you.
It wasn't nearly the same impact as when Mo left, because Mo actually had some personality. He seemed like a guy you'd want to hang out with. Derek was just this very posh New York guy. A great dude by all accounts.
Yes.
But that being said, when there's all these young guys coming up, Mike Trout is awesome to watch. But who am I more interested in?
You're more interested in watching Bryce Harper.
Yeah, I know
Mike Trout. The needle.
Mike Trout's just there. He's doing amazing things, but he's just kind of there. Bryce Harper's doing amazing things, but he is omnipresent throughout the entire game, and he's always being talked about no matter what stadium it is. Do you see that Bryce Harper thing last night?
Absolutely.
Oh, man, he went off in the Sunfire. You know what? I'm cool with that, because there's so many other guys in baseball that keep it grounded in its roots that's never going to go away.
Right.
And baseball's never going to become some sideshow attraction where you have a bunch of Bryce Harpers, but I think the exception to the rule is healthy for it.
This is a Jeremy Warner that texted in on the Chief Bauer text line, but a Jeremy says Bryce Harper hasn't punched out Bob Barker yet.
Yes, this is true.
Okay, yes or no, and then we got to take a break here in a second, but we'll discuss this. Just a yes or no, and then we'll discuss. Did Bryce Harper being intentionally walked that many times versus the Cubs, did that bother you, Austin?
No.
Did that bother you, Carp?
No, it's within the rules.
Doesn't bother me one bit.
Yeah, it's
doesn't bother me one bit. And I saw a lot of people that were upset about that and shouldn't allow that to happen. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? You want to win a game, right? You want to win a game. And if that means taking the best player in baseball, if he is arguably out of it, then you're going to win that game.
They have Zimmerman and Murphy, and they have enough in that lineup that could have done something with an extra base runner, and they didn't do it.
Nope.
So
I agree. Well, listen, that's a good conversation. Well done, Austin, in joining in there. We appreciate that. Always love his take on that, and it was a good take. Bringing up George Brett. I've got his rookie card, by the way. It's worth some cash. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's 217-359-20 what? 22?
2255.
Doug Altenberger, Lance
Sean
Briggs.
Pruitt.
Or Sean Pruitt, if we're going to go with that.
My favorite Illini basketball player.
I love it. We're back. It's the Tay and J Show.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals, a nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
When you're heading home, Tay and Jay are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, your Trane Comfort Specialist. Right now is a great time to buy a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. For a limited time only, we're offering 0% interest until January 2021. That's no interest with equal payments and approved credit for 5 years on any qualifying Trane system. Or, here's another way you can save on a new Trane heating and cooling system from Lands. Trade in your old system. For a limited time, you can get a $1,000 trade-in allowance on qualifying Trane equipment. So pick your best deal. No interest for 5 years or a $1,000 trade-in allowance. Call 1-800-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. And remember, it's hard to stop a train. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
See Lands for program details. Call 888-653-0051 for details about credit costs and terms. Regular APR is 28.99% for newly opened accounts. APR may vary, subject to credit approval. Offer expires June 15, 2016.
Game Day Spirit Fan Store has extended stadium sale pricing and now has huge savings in stores and online. Jerseys, tees, headwear, and more are available at prices over 80% off retail. This sale is only available while supplies last, so hurry in today to shop our significantly discounted selection at 1422 South Neal Street or visit GameDaySpirit.com and save now. We look forward to seeing you at Game Day Spirit, the official fan store of the Fighting Illini.
Your local independent Pekin insurance agent is part of your hometown. They're your friends and neighbors. They know you and your community. So when it comes to the right insurance coverage at the right price, you'll want to talk with the folks you can trust. Ask your local Pekin insurance agent about the affordable insurance coverage for your car, your home, your business, and your family. They'll help you protect what matters most. And you can always count on beyond the expected service and coverage from Pekin Insurance. To find an agent near you, visit www.pekininsurance.com.
Legends Golf Course and Driving Range in Southwest Champaign offers something for golfers of all levels. The 9-hole executive course is great for anyone seeking a quick round of golf at an affordable price. Check out league nights, schedule a private outing, or your company's next team building event. Junior players can learn the game through camps while honing in on their skills in a fun environment. Relax after a round in the newly renovated clubhouse while catching up on golf tournaments or baseball on one of their 6 televisions. Legends Golf Course and Driving Range. Visit them at legendsofchampaign.com.
Hey, Brick's Wood-Fired Pizza in Champaign isn't your typical pizza joint. Not only do they make their dough fresh, they also make their own meatballs, focaccia bread, and fresh mozzarella.
Nice.
In-house every day. They also have a terrific selection of salads and pastas. Try the Bronx Bomber Pizza with spicy Italian sausage, mozzarella, prosciutto. I believe that's right. Yep. Prosciutto, gorgonzola cheese, tomato sauce, and fresh oregano. Enjoy pizza and one of Brick's 24 craft beers on their beautiful patio all summer long. And don't forget that Brick's is the best place, in town late night with daily drink specials. Buy one, get one pizzas after 10 p.m. Sunday through Thursday and after 11 on Friday and Saturday. For lunch, dinner, and late night, make it Brick's Wood-Fired Pizza at the corner of Neal and Devonshire in Champaign.
What is for dinner right now? What's your snack?
My snack? Well,
is it a sweet potato?
I got sweet potato nuking right now.
Okay.
And then I got chicken, mushroom, and almonds.
Okay.
Mixed with some barbecue sauce.
That's interesting.
It's quite good.
That looks good, actually.
Yeah.
I like that. It is the Tay and J Show. Lon Tay, Mike Carpenter. I had a thought today because I made a roast.
Crock pot?
Yeah. And I'm just now kind of figuring out the crock pot.
Okay. Well, then once you figure it out, you're going to be using it a lot.
It has opened up thousands of things to me.
Yeah?
But now I got to figure out what to do and how to do it. So, if you want to text in on the Cheap Hour text line, just give me your quick. I don't need the full recipe.
Best crock pot dish.
Yes. That's all at 359-2255. 359-2255. I'm not going to go through them, but I just want to see what, like, I saw one the other day. It's a beef stew.
Oh.
That sounds good.
Yeah, sounds really good.
That sounds good. So now I've added to my cooking, I don't know what you'd call
cooking repertoire,
I guess, but I don't know that I'd call it that. I think
cooking
you have to have more than what I
Z?
have to call it a repertoire, but I've got roast. It was good, though.
All right. Did you have that last night?
Mm-hmm.
All right. So at least you had that. The game was crappy, but the roast was good.
Right. That's exactly right. If you'd like to weigh in, 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255.
What are we going to talk about?
I don't know. I have no idea.
It's like we got 5 minutes here. Oh, here we go. We got a few things on the Cheap Hour text line. Thank God. Okay,
I can talk. We can go anywhere. We can talk NASCAR. We could talk golf. We could talk, blues. I can keep talking NHL. Or baseball just seems to be the thing to talk about.
Yeah. I keep waiting for the Mike Thorne news to come out.
That's a good point. I'm glad you brought that up. When is that going to happen?
It should this week. I believe it's supposed to happen before the semester's up.
Don't they graduate? When is graduation with U of I?
Graduation's this coming weekend.
So I think they have to have it announced before then, correct?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is a good reminder that Derek Piper is going to join us at Bunny's Tavern.
Do we know what time he's joining us?
4 o'clock
4
hour.
o'clock. Perfect.
I opened it up to him, and he said, let's do the 4 o'clock hour. So I don't know that he's going to be there the entire hour, but I told him a couple of segments.
But yeah, for the Mike Thorne and Tracy Abrams, news, all quiet.
Yeah.
So far, but...
we're ready to hear this.
But how stupid is this? Like, the NCAA, This is not difficult.
No, it's not.
Just rule on it.
Yeah, just yes or no. Let's be done. And I know there's plenty of these, but is there not a committee or one or two people?
Oh, I guarantee there's a lot of committees, I'm sure. They probably have a bunch of committees, and they meet in rooms, and they got to sign off on everything.
But I think they have to wait until the season's over before they can even send in the issue.
Yeah.
So here's one way to defeat that, NCAA. How about this? Mike Thorne goes down and doesn't play the rest of it. Well, no. Mike Thorne's not a good example. Tracy Abrams is a perfect example.
Mm-hmm.
He tore his ACL. He's not going to play again. How about send it in then? Allow him to send it in and say if Tracy Abrams does not play 1 minute this year, will he be allowed to play next year?
Mm-hmm.
Now, what they could do to stop the idea of saying, yep, we're going to give him another year, and then all of a sudden John Gross goes, oh, well, you've got another year, go in and play.
Right.
Right after the season ends on April whatever, within a week, you could have your rulings done within a week or two. Let's say in April, you could have your rulings done on the no-doubters, the Tracy Abrams of the world that didn't play one stinking minute of basketball because he tore his, whatever he tore this year is the Achilles.
Achilles, yeah.
So you would already have Tracy's done. Illinois would know he's back for sure, even though we pretty much know he's going to be back. Then that alleviates a lot of the guys off there. Then you just start to focus on the questionable ones like Mike Thorne. Mm-hmm. And then you make those rulings in early May. I don't understand.
I know. But, I have this weird kind of optimistic feeling with Mike Thorne, and I have no real reason to. Because the NCAA has given me no reason to be optimistic about decisions like this. And you can go back to the Ahmad Starks ruling, where Ahmad Starks probably would have helped big time on that second Gross team.
Without a doubt.
And help them make the postseason. So
I don't know. It's just frustrating as we wait. We sit here and we wait. And it's got to be frustrating for John Gross and these guys because they're trying to get together a roster, a competitive roster for next year.
How much better will we be with Mike Thorne?
It'd be
huge.
Much. It'd be huge, assuming he's healthy next year.
Yeah, that's true. And it could be a lingering thing where he's not going to be playing 100% of the games.
But if he comes back and everybody comes back, then I think, you're going to have a decent team.
You should.
I'm not saying
And I would rather go into the season with expectations of, listen, with this roster, you got to be able to do something.
Right.
As opposed to a roster that's just like, well, what can we really expect from them?
That's
and then we're in limbo.
Right.
And then we're waiting, and you don't get Tillman. And, okay, well, that was something from the 3 o'clock hour. But
I'm with you. Well, we'll talk about that on Drive
we're
Time.
at football school, so who cares?
Okay.
All right.
Hey, here's a couple suggestions. Bacon cheeseburger dip. Man, that sounds like that could end my life tomorrow, but it sounds really good. But you go out it'd be a good way to go out.
Yeah.
Also, taco soup.
Okay.
That's interesting.
All
so
right.
keep them coming. I need some new crock pot.
A lot of dips work well on that, but you can also do some I don't know, like do a barbecue chicken or fajita chicken kind of thing in there.
I got to take a commercial.
Oh.
How about next hour we do Drive Time? Tay and J Show.
Check out the new Honda BMW of Champaign, formerly Twin City Honda BMW, and still located in Savoy. These guys are crazy for used vehicles. Truckloads of pre-owned vehicles, 25 to 50% off the price of a similar new model. And not just Hondas and BMWs, cars, pickup trucks, and SUVs of all makes. Financing options on used cars as low as 1.9%. Just drive by Honda BMW of Champaign and you'll see from the street that this is a new dealership. Honda BMW of Champaign, online at drivechampaign.com.
Hi, this is Rick Allen, founder of InformedAthlete.com. For over 25 years, I've advised athletes and parents about NCAA, NAIA, and JUCO rules. If you're a high school or college athlete or the parent or coach of one, we want you to know about Informed Athlete. Do you have questions about college athletic recruiting, scholarships, academic eligibility, or transfers? For helpful articles and to sign up for our free weekly newsletter, visit us online at InformedAthlete.com. That's InformedAthlete.com.
This is Rob Meyer with Provident Financial Group. Are you getting the attention you deserve from your broker? When you partner with Provident, you get an advisor who stays focused on you and your family. We work for you. Contact us today to schedule a consultation. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Does your life feel like a never-ending to-do list? This is Country Financial Representative Brett Kroenke.
And I'm Trent Swift. We understand the never-ending balancing act, so planning for your retirement, something that could be 10, 20, or 30 years in the future, is easy to put off.
At Country Financial, we can help you focus on your individual situation to create a solid retirement plan for your future.
So what are you waiting for? Call Brett Kroenke or Trent Swift.
Let's check your retirement plan off your to-do list.
Investment management, retirement, trust, and planning services are provided by Country Trust Bank. Investments are not FDIC insured, not bank guaranteed, and may lose value.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals. Check out the new Honda BMW of Champaign, formerly Twin City Honda BMW, and still located in Savoy. These guys are crazy for used vehicles. Truckloads of pre-owned vehicles, 25 to 50% off the price of a similar new model. And not just Hondas and BMWs, cars, pickup trucks, and SUVs of all makes. Financing options on used cars as low as 1.9%. Just drive by Honda BMW of Champaign and you'll see from the street that this is a new dealership. Honda BMW of Champaign, online at drivechampaign.com.
Fox News Radio, I'm Kathleen Maloney. Republican voters going to the polls in Nebraska and West Virginia today. Democrats casting primary votes only in West Virginia. Fox News Radio's Gernal Scott joins us live.
And Kathleen, the Democratic contestants are on the trail, but just not in West Virginia. Hillary Clinton is talking child care affordability in Kentucky.
Something that I feel is at the core of everything else we want to do in society.
Bernie Sanders talked of voters' feelings on big money politics in California.
They are tired of a corrupt campaign finance system which allows billionaires to buy elections.
The GOP contests in West Virginia and Nebraska are Donald Trump's to take, with no opposition, Kathleen.
Thanks, Gernal. It's not an endorsement of Donald Trump, but a step toward unity.
I've signed a pledge that said I'd support the Republican nominee, and I intend to continue to do that.
Senator Marco Rubio and former Trump rival on CNN.
Here's a situation that we're in. On the one hand, I don't want Hillary Clinton to be the president of the United States. I don't want her to win this election. On the other hand, as I said, I have well-defined differences with the presumptive nominee of the Republican Party.
Rubio earlier saying he has no interest in being Donald Trump's running mate. The presumptive GOP nominee getting closer to picking that potential running mate. Donald Trump telling the Associated Press he's putting priority on political experience and that New Jersey Governor Chris Christie is on that list. Trump getting ready for meetings with Republican leaders in Washington on Thursday, including Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, House Speaker Paul Ryan, and the Republican Committee Chairman Reince Priebus. Stocks surging to their biggest gains in 2 months. The Dow climbing 222 points, S&P advancing 26, NASDAQ jumping 60. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
For me, it was the big S-Class from the 90s. Beautiful. My friend's dad had one.
The SL. All of the SLs. I've been watching those since I was a kid.
I think the 1971 SE was the first Mercedes that just blew me away.
Everyone remembers the first time they saw one, and the day they began to long for a Mercedes-Benz of their own. Well, that day may be a lot closer than you think. With a certified pre-owned Mercedes-Benz, you can experience the luxury, the unparalleled safety, the performance, and the style Mercedes-Benz is famous for at a price you can afford. Beautiful SUVs, sedans, coupes, and convertibles that are factory certified and covered by an unlimited mileage warranty for up to 3 years, so you can drive without a worry for as far as you like. And during the certified pre-owned sales event going on now through May 31st, you can receive 2 years of complimentary prepaid maintenance and special financing available through Mercedes-Benz Financial Services, only at your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer. You've waited long enough.
See your authorized Mercedes-Benz dealer for complete details and limitations on certified pre-owned warranties.
The suspected Libyan militant charged in the Benghazi attack stays alive, the Justice Department saying it will not seek the death penalty for Abu Khatala. The U.S. ambassador and 3 other Americans died in that attack. Some drama in the courtroom at sentencing for a New Jersey man who tried to join ISIS.
A rare moment at the sentencing of a terror suspect in federal court in Newark. Defendant Allah Sadeh stood up and apologized for his role in conspiring to provide material support to ISIS, claiming it took time to realize just how bad the terror group was, that he feels horrible for helping his little brother try to join ISIS and doesn't want to be a part of it anymore. But the feds say Sadeh is a liar who didn't cooperate with the investigation and tried to cover up his involvement. And the judge wasn't swayed either, sentencing Sadeh to the maximum 15 years in federal prison and a lifetime of supervision when he gets out. In Newark, New Jersey, Rick Leventhal, Fox News.
A devastating wildfire moving away from Fort McMurray in Alberta, Canada, but the damage is done.
Officials say 2,400 buildings, including 1,600 homes, were destroyed. It's about 10% of the city. But now the fire is burning east of town in the wilderness. Some rain and much cooler temperatures have also helped. Alberta's premier toured the area yesterday and vows the city will rebuild. Residents are still not being allowed back to survey the damage and salvage what they can. Officials say it's still too dangerous, but much of the critical infrastructure survived, including the hospital and all the schools.
Fox's Dan Springer. Surveyors in Oklahoma finding damage consistent with a strong EF3 tornado in Garvin and Murray counties.
It was one of the largest tornadoes I've ever seen in Garvin County. Very destructive.
Garvin County Sheriff Larry Rhodes. 2 people were killed. Buildings were reduced to rubble. An EF3 tornado carries wind speeds up to 165 miles an hour. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
That's my girl.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service, brought to you by Chief Bauer. If you need an AC expert, give Chief Bauer Service Experts a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at chiefbauer.com. Tonight getting down to 56. We have a 50% chance of one scattered shower. It might miss Champaign-Urbana. Looks to be going towards Danville. Then after that, rain dissipates, low of 56.
I like that word.
Dissipates.
High
of 83 tomorrow, partly sunny with a low of 64. And then Thursday, 75 and sunny with a low of 52. Maybe an overnight thunderstorm between Wednesday and Thursday. Right now, it is 73, and the sun's trying to come out.
Yeah.
ESPN Radio.
Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign for new and used vehicles. Stop by Honda BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or visit online at drivechampaign.com.
We started the show speaking with Tyra Perry, the Illini softball coach, and a team that's doing pretty well. They look to be the 7th seed in the Big Ten tournament, coming up playing 10 seed Michigan State, and a solid first season.
Yeah, 34-20 on her first season with some solid team. I mean, it's one of those where I think to you asked her a great question. Is this a senior-laden team, or is this a team that could start the momentum going forward and continue it. And she said a little of both. I agree.
And a makeup like that on a team is always bodes well for the future, where these veterans, a couple of which she spoke on, were kind of, paving the way and setting the culture for these younger girls to follow. So far 34 and 20 on the season, 12 and 11 in the Big Ten. And for a program that, you got to give Terry Sullivan all the credit in the world for what she did with that program, giving it its own identity, which is hard to do for non-revenue sports, but between the world's largest outdoor softball tailgate, things like that, they've always been great with that. There's a good fan base for it, and it looks like Tyra Perry was a tremendous successor to Coach Sullivan.
And only the second coach for U of I softball. Isn't that fun? I mean, it's just funny to even to say that, but certainly Terry Sullivan did a great job, and I'm looking forward to the future with Tyra Perry. I think this softball team's in for some good things. Hey, we also talked, you and I started the show out about Derek Piper's going to join us Thursday at Bunny's Tavern. And we talked about recruiting just a little bit. We kind of leave that for Jeremy and Derek.
Yeah, because they actually know what they're talking about. And this is no inside information or anything like that. But we both kind of agree that, listen, when it comes to Jeremiah Tillman, no.
Right?
No, it's not going to happen.
And listen, if they're listening,
we'd love
Jeremiah
them to come.
Or the parents are listening,
prove me wrong.
Right, please.
By all means, prove me wrong. But this is just institutional knowledge about what happens at Illinois. And then also the concern I think we've all kind of had within the last 2-3 years with Gross as a recruiter is he's getting in the door, but he's not closing them. Mm-hmm. And ever since this Quentin Snyder, Cliff Alexander double whammy back in November 2013, you've gotten really close. You got in top 3s, top 2s. Yeah, for whatever reason, you cannot close these big guys. The more frustrating thing with this one, though, is unlike a Jalen Brunson who was from Chicago.
Sure.
Or unlike a Jawan Evans who was an out-of-state kid. This was a downstate kid, which I guess, is he technically Missouri, the St. Louis area?
No, I think he's Illinois.
Okay, so he is on this side of the river. But regardless, that these downstate kids that you were hoping to bank on in 2017, that was the biggest long shot.
Yeah.
We knew that.
Yep.
But any momentum that seemed to be there in this idea that he was going to pull the trigger on committing to Illinois, that's evaporated, and you don't hear anything about it, and that's concerning.
It is concerning, and I felt like the DeMonte Williams, Javon Pickett started out that 2017 class, and then you had DeMonte Williams who made the decision, yes, I'm coming to Illinois. It's a legend. What do they call it? Not a legend, but a legacy recruit. His dad, of course, we all know, Frank Williams, was unbelievable.
Who?
Maybe one of them. Yeah, right.
Oh, he played point guard, right?
So when that happened, when DeMonte, when that happened and he said yes to John Gross, I thought, all right, this might be the week. This might be the 2 weeks.
Get the ball rolling, yes.
Boom, and it went by. And it's quieted back down
now.
And
Hendrickson's been on the show and talked about it, and Derek's talked about it, Jeremy's talked about it, and these are things where I'm not as well-versed in recruiting as those guys are.
Right.
But as an Illinois fan, I am well-versed in the recruiting part of it that is basically the gut punch.
Yep.
And so close yet so far away. Jordan Goodwin, we both agree, though, that is the one that you have to get.
I agree.
And if you don't get him, you could still get a good class. But I think that significantly ups whatever bar is set for this season on the court.
I will be disappointed if he's not in that class.
It's going to kill you.
Even if it's a class that everybody ranks as a top 25 class, if that kid, Jordan Goodwin, who could change, I think, the culture of your team just with regards to his tenacity on a basketball court, if he is not in that class, I'm going to be really disappointed. And I think he's one of those where I'm not panicked yet about Jordan Goodwin.
No.
I think, and this is what we talked about earlier in the show, is the sense that Jordan Goodwin I think he felt undervalued. Not by Illinois. Not by Illinois. Illinois has been there from the start, but by everybody. And I felt like he wants to go out on this AAU circuit and show what he's worth. Even if all along at the very end he's going to say, "Hey, I was coming to Illinois this whole time," why not go out and prove everyone wrong? That's not right. Everybody knows he's a good basketball player.
Yeah.
But prove that you're a little bit better than what a lot of people project you at. And I think when a lot of teams and coaches see him on that AAU level and understand what he does for a team during a basketball game, I think they'll appreciate him more. And you saw it. Tom Izzo offered from Michigan State. There's more offers coming Jordan Goodwin's way.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully Illinois is still in great shape. And I'm not nervous about that one, but I don't blame the kid.
Oh, I'm nervous about it. I'm nervous.
Well, I'm nervous,
and
I guess.
You got to win.
Not like I am Tillman. I'm not as nervous as I am
sure.
Tillman.
That's apples and oranges for those two, I think, at this point. But yeah, my concern is that you weren't winning games.
No, you got to win.
And not only were you not winning, but really dating back to that game at Purdue last season, or you had an NCAA tournament on the line, you've just been an outright bad basketball team.
I agree.
And it's troubling.
Yep.
And if you're anyone giving advice to one of these kids, you aren't necessarily nudging them in the direction of that program that hasn't made a tournament in 3 years and doesn't look poised to do so this year either.
Right. Speaking of Illinois basketball, you and I were like, what the heck? Mike Thorne, can we hear something?
Someday.
Not from Mike Thorne himself. He's not doing anything wrong.
You would hope
but
this week, wouldn't you?
NCAA basketball, figure this crap out, right?
It's simple.
It's supposed to be done by graduation. Help the coaches out a little bit here. I'm not one of those that sits here on a pew and preaches and rips on the NCAA. I think they've got a hard job. I'm going to be honest with you. And if there's people out there that want to cheat and you're blaming the NCAA because a team cheats, don't blame the NCAA. Blame the team that's cheating. We can all find ways to break the law.
Yeah.
I could walk across that street right now, not on the corner by the stoplight. That's technically breaking the law.
Mm-hmm.
Is that every cop in Urbana's problem because I'm doing that and they're not coming to arrest me? So, I mean, to me, I don't rip on the NCAA every day, but get this one right. Tracy Abrams is a no-brainer.
That one's a no-brainer.
That should have been done right after the season ended. Two days after the season ended. Hey, John Gross, Tracy Abrams is back. We've been studying that case. He hasn't played 1 minute all year. Mike Thorne, this thing should be done in early May. Mm-hmm. Unless I'm just completely out of the bounds here and don't understand what I'm talking about.
It's pretty simple, and I know that they don't like to make exceptions. I would hope for the sake of Mike Thorne, not even Illinois basketball, even though that'd be nice.
But even if it's a no, Carp, right? Even if it's a no, John Gross then can move on.
Yes, well, and Mike Thorne can figure out what he's going to be doing next year.
Right. Amen for him.
Yeah. I mean, think about him. He's in limbo. His future's in limbo, and he's just waiting and waiting for probably an email from some nameless official at the NCAA.
Isn't that sad that I just totally sat there and said, John Gross should know, Illinois should know, and I didn't even think about the young man.
Well, but that's what sports will do. I mean, we are basically looking at this through the prism of wins and losses and on-court success. And Mike Thorne, by all accounts, a great kid.
Yes.
I say kid. I mean, he would be a 6-year player coming up here. But
he's no Tracy Abrams being 38.
But him returning would be the biggest recruit they could haul in this year.
I totally agree.
And that includes, Charlie Moore would help as well.
That would help, yeah. Lon got a little frustrated with the St. Louis Blues last night.
You did, but it was genuine. It came from a genuine
It was
place.
genuine. You had a chance to wrap up a second-round series. You had a chance to get to your first Western Division or Western Conference championship or, final. Since 2001, you had a chance to do it last night. And it's not that the Blues lost. It's that they came out in the first period and were lethargic and looked like they could give a crap less about that game last night. And that's frustrating. You knew Dallas would come out skating on all cylinders. You knew that their backs are against the wall. Why not match the intensity at home? You should be able to match the intensity at home. And this is a veteran group. Yes, there's young kids like Fabry. Yes, there's young kids like Parayko. But this is a veteran group with David Backus and Alexander Steen and Alex Petrangelo, who's a veteran now, and on down that line. Why not come out with some energy in that first period? They finally showed it in the second period. They showed it in the third period. But guess what? It was too late. And now you've got to take your game to Dallas for Game 7 tomorrow night. And who knows? I mean, I know you're going to ask me, are you still confident? Yes. I'm still confident that the Blues can get this done. I'm less confident, and why not just go ahead and get that done, and then you can rest and wait for the Predators or the Sharks to figure out who's coming to your home to start the Western Conference
At least
Finals.
just don't look lethargic at the start of a big game like that.
That one frustrated me. Hey, we also talked about the Cubs and the White Sox, the White Sox. We're going to talk about the Cubs this hour with Sahadev Sharma from The Athletic. But we talked with Dan Hayes from CSN Chicago, and I asked him the question about the White Sox. I said, is there a buzz in Chicago? There's got to be a buzz in Chicago when you think about no Blackhawks right now. Well, they're not used to that up there. No Bulls right now, and let's be honest, even though the Bulls haven't won a title the last few years, they've at least gotten pretty deep in the playoffs, or at least the second round.
It's been a diversion for what's been bad baseball up there, and this is something no one expected, the White Sox being good like this. But like Dan Hayes said, they are still second fiddle to the Cubs. Yep. And even on years that the White Sox were good, the majority of people up there, I don't know, 2/3, maybe more, maybe 70% are Cubs fans, and the other percentage are White Sox fans. But like Dan Hayes said, that probably bodes well for this team.
Sure.
They have that scrappy kind of underdog thing about them, but there's nothing underdog or scrappy about their pitching, which is just outright good. That's going to keep them in this thing for the entire year.
Chris Sale is 7-0 with an ERA of about 1.8.
Yeah.
Jose Quintana, who Jeremy Warner, give him credit, has been preaching about for a few years. He's 5-1 with an ERA of like 1.34.
And he's winning games now.
He's winning games.
Not that the win stat is super important, but good. It has to feel good if you're a pitcher.
Feels good for him.
It's almost like you're getting your due.
Yeah.
Finally, the team is scoring runs while you're putting up great pitching
Todd
performances.
Frazier, 2 homers last night. He's got 10 on the year. He's not hitting for a high average, but he's doing what Todd Frazier does, and that's drive in runs and hit home runs. And Jose Abreu hasn't even gotten started yet. So good things happening right now on the south side up in Chicago. That is Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. For new and used vehicles, stop by Honda BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or visit online at drivechampaign.com. We will visit with Sahadev Sharma from The Athletic. We'll talk some Cubbies later this hour at 5:40. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. It is the Tay and J Show.
ESPN Radio Sports Beat. Here's Sarah Spain.
The Washington Nationals announced Tuesday they've agreed to a 7-year extension with starting pitcher Steven Strasburg. A deal sources tell ESPN's Jim Bowden is worth $175 million. It's the 6th largest deal in baseball history, and among current pitchers, it's tied with Felix Hernandez for total dollars and the per-season number of $25 million. Most expected Strasburg would forego an extension in favor of the open market, as he likely would have been the best free agent pitcher available after this season. And he may still get to test free agency in a few years. Sources tell Bowden the contract includes a rolling opt-out clause after the 3rd or 4th year. It also includes the possibility of $7 million in performance bonuses. And sources tell ESPN's Buster Olney Strasburg will receive another $1 million bonus every season he reaches 180 innings pitched. It's worth noting, though, that Strasburg has been to the DL 6 times in his career, including in 2010 when he underwent Tommy John surgery. It seems his past injuries didn't scare off the Nationals, though, who believe his stats make him a worthy risk. Let's take a look at those stats after this.
AutoZone presents Staying Cool. Taking care of an AC problem is no problem at all. AC Pro Refrigerant from AutoZone helps restore cold air in only 10 minutes. Pretty cool. And right now you can save $5 on 20 ounces of AC Pro Refrigerant with hose and gauge. So visit your local AutoZone. With over 5,000 locations, the right supplies and good advice are just around the corner, so you can fix your car with confidence. Hoods up, America.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
See store for restrictions and details. Deposit required in California.
GoDaddy presents Crazy Ideas That Worked. Meet Fred, who carves heads out of cheese.
I was finishing a masterpiece of Shaquille O'Neal in Swiss. I hit a hole. Shaquille's face blew off. Everybody called me crazy. I got my domain headsofcheese.com from GoDaddy, and now they're selling like hotcakes. Made of cheese.
Got a crazy idea you think you can turn into success? We know you can, and we've got a domain for you. And now get a domain free with a website starting from $1 a month. Go you, GoDaddy. See website for details, not an actual customer.
Strasburg has a career record of 59-37 with a 3.06 ERA. He's 20th among starting pitchers in ERA, but 5th in strikeout rate. He's averaged more Ks per 9 innings than the likes of Clayton Kershaw, Felix Hernandez, Chris Sale, and Madison Bumgarner. In 17 starts since he came off the DL last August, Strasburg has an ERA of 2.26, a whip of .876, 150 strikeouts, and 115 in a third innings. He's got lethal stuff, that's for sure, but as one of the hardest throwing pitchers in the game, he is at risk for injury and fatigue. He's only pitched 200 innings once in 4 seasons since returning from that Tommy John surgery, and he's pitched 8 innings just 9 times in his 139 career starts. He's also never posted an ERA under 3 in a full season. Was he worth $175 million? We'll have to check back in a few years to find out. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat.
When your computer's not working, you're not working. Hi, this is Dan from Simplified Computers. Whether your computer is running slow, you have a virus, or it's just time for an upgrade, Simplified Computers is here to help with personal service you won't find at the big box stores. We can set up your wireless network, build, install, and maintain your business's server, or replace your hard drive. For over 18 years, we have served the Champaign-Urbana community with integrity and quality customer service. Call us at 352-5000. Simplified Computers, simply the best.
West Main Dental. Quality, convenient, patient-focused dental care. Here's what West Main Dental patient Kendall Johnson had to say about his experience at West Main Dental.
I got a root canal after a bad infection. It was terrifying, first root canal, but they did a fantastic job. Made me feel comfortable. The staff was incredibly friendly. They helped me out afterwards. This would be my first time paying for my own dental work myself with insurance. They walked me through everything that I needed, all of my after procedure happenings, and they did it all with a smile.
Anyone would be anxious and nervous going in for a root canal. Kendall, tell me about this experience. Were you anxious and nervous?
Oh yeah, but as soon as I walked in, I saw that first friendly face and I felt fantastic.
Whether you need a procedure like a root canal or something more invasive, or maybe it's just a checkup or cleaning you're needing, West Main Dental is who you need to call. 607-1292. Located in downtown Urbana, West Main Dental will keep your smile bright. Visit them online at westmaindental.com.
When you're a kid, monsters live under your bed. When you're a grown-up, monsters come in the mail. You know, bills. But by refinancing your mortgage with Quicken Loans, you could save hundreds of dollars each month. Money you can use to shrink those monstrous bills down to a size that's not nearly as scary. To learn how, call 800-QUICKEN today or visit us online at QuickenLoans.com. Here's one more thing that can help put your mind at ease. For 6 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call us at 800-QUICKEN and buy in. Again, that number is 800-QUICKEN. Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power. Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSconsumeraccess.org number 3030.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Start your day with me along with Diane Ducey. Weekday mornings 7 to 9 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
It is the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lon Tay, Mike Carpenter, also Austin Berkland, the pride of Paxton, has made his debut today. He's been on there plenty of times, but today he made his debut earlier and had a great take on baseball. We talked a little bit about Bryce Harper. We forgot to say that in drive time. We kind of went off on Bryce Harper. Not went off on him, but chatted about that. This Thursday, we're going to be at Bunny's Tavern. It's going to be fun. It's just you and I, Carp.
That's right.
You and I at Bunny's Tavern. Not sure yet who we're going to have on except for Derek Piper's going to be there in the 4 o'clock hour. Bunny's Tavern, great place to go eat. Tonight, Tuesday, house smoked wings. Oh, they are delicious. Wednesday, bacon wrapped shrimp. Thursday, beef tacos. So come out and join us at Bunny's Tavern Thursday. Have some beef tacos and enjoy the Tay and J Show. That's going to be a good time. I love going to Bunny's. We're going to be outside. Right?
Yes, it's going to be a beautiful day. Doesn't look to be rainy, and even if it is, we're covered.
Right.
In their beer garden. So
I'm ready for just 2 or 3 dry, warm days.
I know. I am too. And I think tomorrow we're going to get that. We're going to get 82 tomorrow, and not much chance of rain during the day. So that's good.
You stay in shape. You and Jeremy both work out. You run a lot, and you work out. You lift. And you eat right, which is awesome. And I think Jeremy doesn't eat as well as you, but Jeremy certainly watches what he eats. But I think once in a while he'll plow down some chicken wings or a cheeseburger. So I don't do any of the above. I work out a little bit, but none of the above. But when summer hits and it's warm for 3 or 4 days, it triggers me to get outside and actually run or bike or do something active, take a walk, which is amazing what just a simple walk will do. And I think I'm not alone on that. I think a lot of people just don't like the colder weather, obviously in rain.
Well, and we've had a great run of weather, but I think when you get to this point of the year and you get these 65 and rainy days,
I want some heat.
You're like, enough.
Right.
Like, I mean, and it's crazy how it's like a sliding scale where today, if you would have gotten today's weather 6 weeks ago, oh, man, this is incredible.
Right.
Well, now 6 weeks later, we're kind of used to it. It's like, all right, I've felt the 66 degrees and cloudy and rainy.
Yeah, we've had enough of this.
Sunny and hot. And I do. Like, we're actually we're grilling out tomorrow, and I'm excited to sit outside on what's going to be like a 77, 78-degree night. It's going to be warm at night.
That's perfect.
Warm and humid.
That's
which
great.
I know a lot of people hate humidity.
Yeah, and come on.
Mid-July, Right. Mid-July, maybe I'll be a little bit tired of it.
But in May, bring the humidity on.
I want that.
Totally agree. All right, we don't do certain things on the Tay and J Show. Like, a lot of times people will call us and say, we've got an event coming up, or we've got a travel baseball team that did this. There's just certain things we don't do, and I hope nobody takes offense to it. My son played on a lot of travel ball teams. We never sat here and talked about like what they did, and it's nothing against what it's one of those things that if we did it for this team, we'd have to do it for 100 people.
Right.
And like on events like that, where we got this little event coming up, we usually just kind of steer away from that. One of the things we always steer away from is birthdays.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes somebody will call up and say, or text in and say, we're having a birthday. So today I got something on here, but this kid actually played fast pitch softball with me.
Oh,
and
wow.
He's
very
a nice young man.
All right.
And that's Cody Deppy, who possibly just ran off the road, but it's his birthday today, so happy birthday to Cody Deppy. There, I'm throwing that out there. I'm not sure who texted it in, but there you go.
Hey, this is the most awkward transition in radio history. But what about that stuff in my?
What are you wearing? What are you wearing to that wedding, Lon?
Yeah. No, this is so I'm getting back from the Derby on Sunday, and then all this news
the
is
Muhammad
breaking.
stuff.
What in the?
You know, Mom and I flew back in from Vegas that
They haven't
day.
caught him yet, have they?
I don't know. They're looking for him down in southern Illinois.
Well, thank God he's in southern Illinois.
Like in Gondola or something. Is
A
where they're looking for him.
survivalist, they called him, which means that he can survive.
Right. Right.
So it's not just a clever name.
Well, it's not funny. I mean, but he's probably down in the Shawnee Forest, you know. We were driving back from Vegas. Mom and I had to stop in Bloomington, and one of my friends texted me and said, "Stay clear of Muhammad." And actually, Mom had mentioned to me for Mother's Day, she mentioned, well, would you want to swing by JT Walker's and eat? Because we love JT Walker's and good friends of our show as well. And then she remembered she had to run an errand in Champaign and said, well, how about this? We'll just go into Champaign. I'm like, that's fine.
Yeah.
And then 5 seconds later, it was almost like it triggered the text.
Weird.
5 seconds later, it was like, well, steer clear of Muhammad. And I'm like, what's going on, Muhammad? And then I heard the story. That's terrible.
Yeah, scary stuff. I mean, the officer's okay, and there was a casualty in a wreck that was a part of that. But
it's crazy.
It's a crazy story because, you know, in this area, to read a headline that says manhunt,
right,
and it actually is a manhunt.
That's weird.
That is very weird.
That's very weird, and you don't. We'd rather avoid any manhunts, and that's why we like living where we live. We don't normally get into that stuff around this area.
We don't have Taste Take today.
No.
But what I wanted to do, and maybe you could play the Hollywood music, the award show music for this, is, I still want to get inside the brain of Lon Tay a little bit.
Oh, wow.
And what I did was I dug up the 10-question survey that was popularized on Inside the Actors Studio.
Okay.
Now, did you ever watch Inside the Actors Studio?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, well then this
is that a
show?
show?
Yeah, it was the bald guy with glasses. James Lipton would interview all the guests.
Oh, okay.
There was a good SNL skit where Will Ferrell would play James Lipton as well.
Okay,
and he had
I've
a
never
huge
seen
stack of cards. Okay, well I'll show you that during the break. But instead of Taste Take, let's do what the Inside the Actor Studio questionnaire for Lon Tay. This, of course, brought to you by DP Dough. Over 1 million calzones served since 2006. Order yours online today at dpdough.com.
DP Dough sounds so good.
It's really good because if you're done with sandwiches and done with pizza, you want to switch it up. What do you get? You get DP Dough. Their calzones are tremendous.
Yes.
Great deal, too. So just check online, dpdough.com. All right,
this
10
is going to
questions
end
long.
here, this music, so I'm going to...
Oh, it's short? That's fine.
It's a short clip.
Okay, question number one.
Okay.
What is your... And try to...
I have no idea where this is going.
That's fine. Try to just go with the gut reaction.
Okay.
Number one. What is your favorite word?
My favorite word is anti-disestablishmentarianism.
Okay.
Only because I'm proud of the fact that I know anti-disestablishmentarianism, and I don't know that many people do.
What is your least favorite word?
Wait, the other favorite word is nifty or Yahtzee.
Yes.
Those are my three
Or etc. But that's more of an abbreviation.
Right. That's more of a tick.
Yes.
A nervous tick on Lon's behalf.
Okay. What is your least favorite word?
Particularly.
Ooh.
Because
it's
I
tricky
can't
to say
it on the radio.
It's tough. The R to L is a tough transition.
And how do you spell particularly? Is it P-A-R or is it P-A-T?
P-A-R-T-I-C-U-L-A-R... L-Y. Particularly. Yes.
It just doesn't flow. In particular, that's still a hard question. It's the R-T. Part... That's the part. Like part is fine, but if you then need to add
particular
to it.
Well, you spell particular Then add ly.
Yeah, I just don't like it particularly.
Okay, fair enough.
So that's kind of a...
Question number 3.
And moist.
Yeah, that's a lot of people's least favorite word.
Right.
Number 3, what turns you on creatively, spiritually, or emotionally?
What turns me on?
Yeah.
Happy people. Just happy people. Is that fair? Is this
That's
getting
beautiful.
too deep?
No, that's beautiful, actually.
I just like being around happy people. I can't stand being around people that are just kind of in a grumpy mood.
What turns you off?
What turns me off? Grumpy
Other than
mood.
grumpy people. Yeah. You can't just do the antonym of whatever your favorite.
Right. You know, I'm not a... I don't get like claustrophobic. I don't mind going to Chicago or Manhattan when there's millions of people there.
Yeah.
I just don't like crowds that are in a tight area. Like Busch Stadium or Wrigley Field, I'm fine with that. I'm good with that. But if I'm in like an elevator or if I'm in like a room and there's people just all over the place and I feel like they're bumping into me and stuff.
Feels suffocating.
I'm just like, you know what? And it's not even like I don't get anxiety by it. I'm just like, oh my, get me the heck out of here.
Yeah.
It's just this is wearing me out. So that, if that answers the question.
What is your favorite curse word? Now, you can't say it on the air, but you can allude to what your favorite curse word is.
It's not any of the good Lord's names.
Of course not.
We
don't blaspheme here on the Tay and J Show.
We do not. And my mom listens once in a while, and she would come up and wring my neck.
Yes.
My favorite curse word.
Some people switch it to Jiminy Christmas.
It's probably like
gosh darn it.
Where water comes into a...
Water comes into a...
Like you have a... Well, it's a dam.
Oh.
Like
By
you
itself.
fish underneath... Yeah,
by itself, without the G in front of it, of course.
Right. So for me, I think that it's poignant.
Just D.
It just...
Well, you can say it in an exclamatory fashion.
You can, because I was fishing by the dam.
Gone, but no, what I mean is I could quote Gone with the Wind right now, and it'd be fine.
True. That's true.
So yeah, but that's okay. It is a curse word.
It's simple,
counts.
it's quick,
Yes.
it gets my point across that I'm not happy.
There's a few words that even if you alluded to them, it would offend people.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes. So
Question number 6. What sound or noise do you love?
Really, birds singing. Love it.
It's nice, isn't it?
I love sitting outside. I did this all the time when I was younger. I would sit outside and listen to birds, like the robins, of course, or the quail or the dove. I mean, just any of that, and the cardinal, of course, who's just got that quick little that one. So yeah, I love listening to birds. That's a cool thing. Are you going to ask me what smell I like? Because it's gasoline.
I like the smell of gasoline too. I had to get my gas tank filled up, and then also the little red.
Oh, it's the best.
The lawnmower gas canister. Had to fill that one up today. And
yeah. Do you always overflow that?
No.
Okay.
No, that's a little bit too risky.
I've been known to overflow once in a while a lawnmower.
But
just a little 5
there's a
gallon.
mechanism on the gas thing.
The
that
newer
says,
ones have it.
Okay.
But I think mine's still like circa 84.
You went to the old full service gas stations where they came out, clean your window, check tire pressure.
Exactly.
What sound or noise do you hate?
What sound or noise do I hate? That's a good question. Last call. Is that fair?
Yeah,
no,
that's
I'm
fair.
never around for that anymore. What sound do I hate? That's a tough one. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
fair.
confused. I'm not confused, but you've stumped me on that one.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Wow. Not sports?
Oh, I mean, it could be sports related. I mean, it's whatever's not your profession
That's
now.
a great question. What profession other than either what I do, which is either in the radio, TV, or the insurance business, what other profession? That's a great question. I think I would love, like, I want to be like let's say like UPS, FedEx guy.
Yeah.
Because number one, you deal with people, and I like
Yes.
doing that. Number two, it seems to be a less stress job. Not that either one of my jobs are stressful, but I think it's just one of those where, all right, here's what you got. You got to get rid of it today. Now, that can become stressful, especially in the winter or around holidays, especially, I would imagine, for those guys. But I think that'd be a cool job because I think it would give me a sense of accomplishment every day. You're done.
Right.
And that's why I always like television sports, because at the end of the day, at 10:20 or 10:25 when I went on and I did sports and we were done at 10:30 and we said goodnight to everybody, I knew I was done. I had a sense of accomplishment. I did my job. Now I'm going home and I could sleep well because it wasn't like, all right, tomorrow I've got this, I got to do this. So that kind of can wear on you. But yeah, one of those guys.
All right, very cool.
Or changing tires for a NASCAR team.
Question number 9, what profession would you not like to do?
I would never be a doctor. I would never do that. I just couldn't do it. I couldn't imagine going out and giving people bad news of anything, whether it's death or, you have this or whatever. I could not do that. That would wear on me to the point where I'm done.
Right.
I'd be out of here. And plus, blood doesn't bother me, but I certainly don't need to work with it every day.
Yeah.
Right? So, that would be it.
And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
That he's a Cardinal fan? That he's a Cardinals fan, yeah.
Okay.
What would I like to hear him say? That you did a lot of things wrong, but you were always nice to people, and I appreciate that, and I felt like you tried to do the right thing.
Okay.
That would be the best.
That's good.
Is that cool? Or
that's really good.
If he looked at me and said, as soon as you go through those gates, Griff, my old rat will be waiting for me on the other side. Now, that would be cool.
Wow, that would be cool.
Then you walk through and you see your pup that you had for 18 years.
Oh, man. That was touching, actually.
Made people cry.
Well done, Lon. That was a very special edition of Tay's Take, brought to you by DP Dough. Over 1 million calzones served since 2006. Order online at dpdough.com. I hope that Steve, if he was listening, enjoyed the updated rendition of Tay's Take for this week.
Absolutely. Well, let's hope you did. Hopefully we didn't bore you too bad. Hey, Sahadev Sharma, the Athletic, fire back up. We're going to talk Cubbies to close the show. I know Austin's fired up. Of course, the Pride of Paxton set up a Cubs interview
to close the show.
Executive producer.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Too much power, man.
Talk the stinking Cubs next. It's the Tay and J Show.
The sounds of spring and the smell of flowers in the air, they all add up to Spring Green, America's neighborhood lawn care team. That lush green lawnscape is a result of a reputation earned through consistent performance. They become your favorite through quality service and professionalism. Spring Green will service and maintain your lawnscape with seeding, aeration, fertilizing, weed reduction, disease, and insect control. Now the ease and trouble-free convenience of Spring Green's professional lawn care's full program is yours at savings of 20% for new customers. It's backed by their guarantee of satisfaction. Over 32 years of satisfied customers reflect their commitment to Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. Call Spring Green at 217-359-2111 or online at spring-green.com at 217-359-2111.
U.of.I. Community Credit Union for campus and community.
At the U of I Community Credit Union, we've added community into our name because it's truly all about the community. But it's even bigger than that. It's our new promise to you, a promise that we will look out for you. Come see why our members call us their financial coaches for life. It's all about growing our community at the U of I Community Credit Union. Stop by one of our branches and see why you and I belong together.
Live, work, or study in Champaign County? You should bank with the U of I Community Credit Union. Visit them online at uoficreditunion.org. That's uoficreditunion.org.
U of I Community Credit Union for campus and community.
Legends Golf Course and Driving Range in Southwest Champaign offers something for golfers of all levels. The 9-hole executive course is great for anyone seeking a quick round of golf at an affordable price. Check out league nights, schedule a private outing, or your company's next team building event. Junior players can learn the game through camps while honing in on their skills in a fun environment. Relax after a round in the newly renovated clubhouse while catching up on golf tournaments or baseball on one of their 6 televisions. Legends Golf Course and Driving Range. Visit them at legendsofchampaign.com.
It is the Tay and J Show. I want to tell you about Spring Green, now in their 33rd year of business. It's a highly trained and experienced team that serves Champaign-Urbana and the Mattoon-Charleston area. They are your neighborhood lawn care team, and we know a home's lawn is one of its greatest assets. It is an investment worth protecting. New customers of Spring Green, you can save up to 30% off when choosing from their full program. Give JT or Steve a call at 359-2111. That's 359-2111. Or visit them on the web It's spring-green.com.
It is the Tay and J Show. Mike Carpenter in for Jeremy Warner on assignment until Friday.
Right.
All three of us will be here Friday. Me and Lon tomorrow. Thursday at Bunny's.
At Bunny's, man.
Speaking of Bunny's, they have a great event coming up Saturday. We'll talk more about it on Thursday. It is an MDA fundraiser, so we'll get into the details with Ben and I believe a representative from the local MDA group and the music. I believe 90's Daughter is going to be closing out the night. 50-50 raffle, prizes that they're raffling off, a lot of cool stuff. So
Bunny's does a lot of good work for the community.
Yeah, so just come out. Here's what you do. Thursday, come out, start your weekend early with us.
Yes.
Get there, 4 o'clock.
We're going to be outside.
Outside in the beer garden.
We did this show last year and a bunch of Urbana high school teachers showed up, right?
It was early June and they had just gotten done with the school year.
I remember that.
And man, they threw down.
They did.
I mean, they were very excited
we were all
about the end of the school
Wait
year.
a minute, teachers drink?
Oh, yeah. But you know what it is? I think there was something about people that, especially like English teachers, right?
Yeah.
Or I think anyone that is more into the creative arts of any kind.
Sure.
Yes. Maybe less the math and science teachers.
Okay.
I would love to read.
They're a little more straight and narrow.
Yeah, I would love to read an article that breaks down like what kind of person is more likely to say, you know what, I'm going out and trying a few days.
Are they the ones that go home and just mix a scotch and just kind of sit down and enjoy
English
a nice
people or the math and science
the
people?
math and science.
Yeah, I think that'd be it.
They just kind of make a little scotch. They sip on it as
and
the
the
night
English
continues.
teachers are throwing kegers whenever the school year's over,
Right.
which I respect. And I condone that.
No,
if
but
they,
I remember
they do it
those.
safely.
They were all in a good mood and having a good time last year at Bunny's. So we encourage any.
We encourage anybody, but the only person, the only kind of people we don't encourage, and this happens on occasion. Is sometimes there'll be someone there that is clearly not happy that there's a radio show.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll glare. And I'm thinking, I don't know what to tell you. First off, you've been to, well, of course, you've been to these remotes,
right.
and you know that we don't exactly blare the speakers.
No.
We keep it at a very low volume, and if people want to hear us, they'd have to be in the few tables around us. And then if more amass around us in the beer garden, we'll turn it up.
Absolutely.
But man, you can get some looks from people that are just
you do.
filthy.
And it's funny, it's one of those where it's like, well, what am I going to do? I have to do this.
Yeah.
I'm doing my job. So I'm going to be sitting here for 3 hours. You, my friend, have the ability to go into the other room.
Yeah.
And not hear us.
Yeah.
Or go outside. For instance, we're going to be outside tomorrow. But, we don't like that because we want people at Bunny's, obviously, to show up. That's why we're doing our show there. And we want people that are actually there to be able to have a good time and kind of enjoy. We don't expect, like, if you come to Bunny's, you come to one of our remotes, we don't expect you to sit there and glare at us and listen.
No.
Like not glare as in a mad way. But we don't expect you to just sit there and just like nod your head and say,
it's not like it's not like a concert or something like
do
that.
Your
you
thing,
just come hang out and but no,
pop,
it's going to be fun to get there on Thursday because again, it's going to be beautiful weather. So start your weekend early with us. Come out to Bunny's. They got great drink specials every day, and even if a drink isn't on special, I guarantee you aren't spending a lot on it.
Okay. No, you're right. And that's true.
The food, too. The food is, honestly, when it comes to sports bar food, it's really hard to beat.
Oh, it's unbelievable.
And you look at the menu prices and you think, well, it's like if you never had Bunny's food.
It's unbelievable.
And you look at the menu and you say, okay, I'm going to get some chicken wings. What? That's it?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, hey, they're chicken wings. They can't be that bad, right?
Right.
And then they come out and they're best chicken wings you've had in
Without
town.
a doubt. Without a doubt. Hey, Sahat of Sharma, we have had a cancellation here. So our Cubs, I guess I got my wish. I don't have to talk about the Cubbies. No, I'm kidding. Austin, I'm kidding. We can bring Austin on, though. Maybe we can talk to Austin about the Cubs.
Okay.
And see what he thinks about it. We will take any calls, any texts, 359-2255. That's 217-359-2255. Did you just talk to Sahadev?
Yes, I did.
So what's going on? Because I looked at you and I mouthed the word why, and it's not because why did he cancel? It's why is Theo having a press conference? There's nothing serious.
No, I think it's just a basic chat with the media.
Oh, okay.
So it's just an impromptu thing. So Sahadev had to cancel, which is completely understandable.
Well, that's good news because I honestly had a concern. Like, is Jake Arrieta hurt? Or, I mean, I don't know why the GM, that normally doesn't happen a lot where they just throw in a huge media gathering, but obviously that's what Theo Epstein is doing, and what a job he's done.
Oh, my gosh.
Did you trust him from day one, Austin, that he would come in and do it right?
Honestly, I had my doubts. I remember the Chris Bryant draft. I was watching the draft on MLB Network. It was the brand new concept of the network, and watching the draft, I was like, we need pitching. We need this Jonathan Gray. He throws 101 miles per hour consistently.
I remember him.
Here we go. We're going to get him. We're going to start our pitching off. We need pitching in the worst way. And then they take this Chris Bryant fellow, and I'm like, Theo, why would you do this?
Yeah, what are you doing?
We don't need another hitter in in our farm system. Get the pitcher. And then I remember tweeting at Megan Montemurro, and she tweeted back saying, get the best player available. Yeah. And I was like, okay.
Megan knew her stuff.
Yes.
She knew her stuff, and obviously Theo Epstein knows his stuff.
Yes, he does.
Because he's put together an unbelievable roster there that's going to be around for a while. Are you shocked, Austin? We're talking to Austin Berkland.
Our Cubs correspondent
today in place of Sahadev Sharma, who had to cancel because Theo Epstein obviously doesn't like our show and decided to have a press conference and ruin the end of our show as we were going to talk to Sahadev. Are you impressed with John Lester this year? Not in the fact of what he's doing. Do you think he can maintain this over this long of a time? Because how would you evaluate him as a Cub? Have you been disappointed a little bit in John Lester as a Cub?
Last year I was because he got ace money, and I remember Jeremy talking about he's not really a true ace. He's a good number one. He's a fantastic number two. So whenever this year happened, I think the pressure was off of him completely with Jake Arrieta winning the Cy Young. So now he's just doing his thing. He had a whole offseason with the Chicago Cubs organization. He went through a spring training, full spring training, didn't have the dead arm issues. So now I think he's back in a regular groove like he was back in Boston. I know there's still some yips thrown to first base, thrown into the bases in general. But I'm feeling like he's more comfortable.
Okay.
He's more relaxed on the mound this year, so it's not just like everyone's running on him.
No, that's fair.
David Ross has helped out a lot too. He has the most pickoffs right now in the NL.
Does he really?
Yeah.
David Ross.
He's having a good year. Even offensively, he's okay.
Is it the gray beard that does it to me?
I don't know. As for in what way?
For Ross, I mean, not for John Lester. David Ross. He's like he's 60.
Oh, that. In a good way or bad way?
In a bad way. I'm always like, is he good? But
David Ross has been one of those guys. He's a major league lifer.
Right.
He's been around forever, and he's always been good enough to stick on teams.
Yeah.
But as a fan, even if you can get told by a manager over and over, hey, he's a great defensive catcher.
Right.
He calls a great game. But then you see 220, and you're like, no.
Yeah.
Don't want it.
Why is he around?
And I remember last year, and deservedly so, people were thinking, what? Lester has to have his own catcher? Mm-hmm. And that you would take Montero out of the lineup for that?
Correct.
But what he's done, given the circumstances, with Montero being injured, with Schwarber not being available, which, Schwarber, what you get offensively, you would lose defensively as a catcher.
No doubt.
You did in left field as well.
No doubt.
That, it's been pretty remarkable how good he's been.
Yeah.
And it's a great way to go out. If this is the last year for him, like he says,
absolutely,
he could certainly go out and be one of those guys that 10 years, well, honestly 30, 40, 50 years down, if this team wins it all, that you remember, and remember David Ross?
Yeah.
And what he did?
Amen. I think Sports Illustrated, Austin's out, right? With the cover, is the regional cover or is this a national?
The regional cover was the
Why would it only be a regional? I mean,
Vince Scully was on the other one.
Oh.
There's a big story, big interview with him.
Is this the most recent Sports Illustrated? Or?
I think.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just saw it. I haven't seen my actual Sports Illustrated yet.
Okay.
But I don't know where I saw it, on Twitter or something, a picture of the Sports Illustrated, and I think it's Hayward coming home or someone touching home, and all the Cubs are out there surrounding. And I don't remember exactly what it says, but underneath the caption it says greatest. You have it?
Yeah, it says just maybe ... right?
Yeah.
Question mark.
Right?
Sorry, I had a weird thing in my throat there. Charles P. Pierce on the last great American sports story.
I like that. The last great American sports story. Think of that.
It would be.
What's the one thing we haven't seen
that would have an impact
in 100-some years?
It would be incredible having, in the same calendar year, have the European Cinderella story with Leicester City.
Yeah.
And then the American Cinderella story. I mean, I don't know how you can use Cinderella story with this team.
I'm with you.
But just the fact that they're breaking this curse in the same calendar year, it'd be the official year of the underdogs.
It would be. It'd be cool. And let's be honest, the Cubs are great right? I mean, this team is great, and they're going to do what they're on pace to do is ridiculous. I mean, it's sickening how many things they could break. But let's be honest, there's still the postseason, right?
Yes,
it's still, guess what? You won 120 games? Congratulations. Guess what? It all starts fresh tomorrow.
The last team, the 2001 Seattle Mariners, I believe, had the 118 win mark that set the modern mark for wins, and they lost in 5 to the Yankees in the ALCS.
And I think a lot of people, you wonder about how, the fan pressure, Carp. You talk about that a lot. Fan pressure.
I think there would be more pressure if all these records are broken
and you don't win it.
But that you would even go into the postseason thinking, my God, we did this, this, and
we
this.
Don't win it.
We have to win it.
Exactly.
And maybe if you get that 104 win mark, which seems like meager expectations at this point, you do that, you win the division, whatever, and you aren't breaking the run differential record and all these certain things. That you go in knowing that you're the favorite. No matter what, there's going to be major expectations, and there should be.
Sure.
You never want to say, well, hey, we'll be just as good next year.
Yep.
It feels like this team, it doesn't feel like this team is fully equipped to win the World Series.
You know what always scared me, Austin, and on our roll, the Cardinals I'm talking about, when they went to the playoffs every year, the thing that always scared me was the National League Division Series, because it's 5 games.
Yes.
It's 5 stinking games. It's not 7. It's not Arrieta 3 times on the bump if you need him. It's not Arrieta and Lester 4 times in a 7 game. It's possibly Arrieta twice. It's possibly Lester once. The 5-game series is the one where I always would get nervous, and the Cardinals were always great at them. I don't know if they ever lost them until last year when the Cubs beat them. That was always the series. I'm like, once they got past that, unless the pitching was so messed up where you had to go Carp again in Game 5, which they had to do against the Nationals the one year, the Phillies, and beat Doc Holliday. But it was, unless the pitching was completely messed up, you're like, all right, we're the better team. Now we've got 7 games to prove it. Yep. I don't know what it is. I know you felt that probably with the Yanks.
But here's the thing, the 5-game series, even more so with the wild card element, that if you're the number 1 seed, who do you play? You play the team that wins that emotional game of the wild card series. And it just seems like those wild card teams are always the scariest ones. And even before the 2 teams faced off in a wild card playoff in a single game, I was always leery when the Yankees would get the top seed. I hated playing the wild card. And I don't really believe in momentum necessarily in baseball, but
I think
sometimes it's hard not to when you see what the Mets pitching did last year, what the Royals did when they were down, 5 outs away against Houston?
Yeah, I think about, you talk about that. I think a pitcher, if he's rolling momentum-wise, he feels good. He feels like he can get anybody out. If you're a hitter, you feel like that ball. I mean, you hear the old beach ball theory, but you feel so comfortable in a batter's box, and if you have a big game just to get to that series, all of a sudden maybe you come in hot. The one thing that would make me really nervous, Austin, and I'm doing this just to totally mess with your head and have you have nightmares tonight, it would be the Cubs in that 5-game series if Arrieta goes out and doesn't win. Just think about, that would be where I'd see the main panic from Cubs fans and thinking, oh no, the unthinkable Jake Arrieta did not win. Now, do I expect him to not win? No. I expect him to be just as dominant as he has been for 2 years here. But that would be the thing that would just absolutely worry me, thinking, they're up 1-0, the other team, and Arrieta's already been beaten.
The thing that I love about this team is their resiliency. They're the only team not to lose back-to-back games.
That's awesome.
So that kind of thing with this lineup, I feel they can score maybe 6 runs in that second game.
That's huge.
And then that third game, they're like, all right, we got our mojo back. Let's just keep rolling. Let's keep rolling.
Well, the Cardinals series last year,
right.
I mean, granted that was Lester that lost Game 1, but still losing that opening game in St. Louis, you couldn't help but think, they might not be there
next year. Maybe next
year. Especially when those young Cardinal batters, the Biscottis of the world, when they started hitting bombs in Game 1, I was like, oh no. I thought
why do they know how to do this?
I thought we had the young talent, and then this Cardinals team. Like, that's where I'm getting a little concerned. If we take the Mets in this wild card game, they have the pitching.
They do.
In a 5-game series.
They totally do.
So if they have Harvey going on the bump in a wild card game.
Right.
Oh, no. They have DeGrom Game 2. Right. So scary. So I'm not really I'm too concerned with the Mets.
Okay.
Not any other team.
And it does help, series. Believe me. I'm sure if you're a pitcher, it helps knowing your club's going to get 4, 5, 6 runs. Yeah. I think you can relax. All right, Austin, great job producing today. Tyra Perry, Illini softball coach, Dan Hayes, CSN Chicago. We were going to have Sahadev Sharma, but Theo Epstein
had to intervene.
Whatever, Theo. But maybe we'll talk to Sahadev tomorrow. So maybe, Austin, maybe you could reach out and see if we could chat with him tomorrow. We'll talk about that as we go. But thanks for your work.
Thank you,
Austin.
guys.
Good stuff, as always. The pride of Paxton. And Mike Carpenter, you and I will be back tomorrow. And, of course, Thursday at Bunny's. Looking forward to that. Derek Piper. Tomorrow, don't know yet.
We'll wing it.
We'll
we usually do.
Doesn't happen often that you and I look at each other, but we had a moment with 2 minutes left in the 4 o'clock hour where we looked at each other and said, what do you want to talk about? I do that to Jeremy sometimes, and Jeremy laughs at it.
That might be an hourly occurrence
but
tomorrow.
Sometimes I will look at him and I'm like, where do you want to go? Because I'm out.
That's okay.
Like my thought process is I'm shutting down.
We'll have a Cubs and a Cardinals game to talk about at least, as long as the Cubs don't get rained out.
Well, we're going to probably preview with Norm Sanders. That's another one you could do, Austin. We'll probably preview Norm Sanders. Not preview Norm Sanders. I don't want to know about him necessarily, but I want to know about the Blues and Dallas Stars for Game 7 tomorrow night. So we got plenty to talk about. It's going to be fun. All right, we'll see everybody tomorrow. Hope you enjoyed it. It's the Tay and J Show with Mike Carpenter.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company. And you know spring has sprung. When you see those tulips coming up, you need to mow the grass and you hear me on the radio. So give us a call right now at Kramer Siding and Window Company. Take advantage of 30% off our siding, windows, and doors. We also have 10% off our roofing, sunrooms, decks, and pergolas. And don't forget the gutter helmet. Never clean your gutters again. So give us a call right now at Kramer Siding and Window Company or check us out on the web.
West Main Dental. Quality, convenient, patient-focused dental care. Here's what West Main Dental patient Kendall Johnson had to say about his experience at West Main Dental.
I got a root canal after a bad infection. It was terrifying, first root canal, but they did a fantastic job. Made me feel comfortable. The staff was incredibly friendly. They helped me out afterwards. This would be my first time paying for my own dental work myself with insurance. They walked me through everything that I needed, all of my after-procedure happenings, and they did it all with a smile.
Anyone would be anxious and nervous going in for a root canal. Kendall, tell me about this experience. Were you anxious and nervous?
Oh yeah, but as soon as I walked in, I saw that first friendly face and I felt fantastic.
Whether you need a procedure like a root canal or something more invasive, or maybe it's just a checkup or cleaning you're needing, West Main Dental is who you need to call. 607-1292. Located in downtown Urbana, West Main Dental will keep your smile bright. Visit them online at westmaindental.com.
Sprint by Wireless Revolution. Do you live in Urbana? Visit the Sprint store on the corner of Philo and Florida for your new device, and we'll transfer all of your photos, contacts, and other important data from your old phone. Also, come see Sprint by Wireless Revolution in North Champaign at Center Court and Marketplace Mall. Let them set up your new phone or tablet while you get your shopping done. Or if you're on North Prospect, visit the only Sprint mobile device service center in town, located next to Starbucks. They can help you find a new phone or fix your old one. Sprint by Wireless Revolution. Local, convenient, and serving our community since 2011.
Hello, this is Shane Coulter from Country Arbors Nursery. There isn't enough time in this commercial to tell you all the great plants and products that Country Arbors carries. I'll simply say we have 50 acres full to the brim with plants, thousands of shade trees, shrubs, and our own grown perennials and annuals. There's no bigger selection of plants in Champaign-Urbana. And Country Arbors also offers a planting service on every plant we sell. If we plant your larger tree, we'll guarantee it for 5 years. And if you want to plant it yourself and live in the Champaign area, we'll deliver it to the hole for free. Not just a driveway, but to wherever in the yard you're planting it. So come out to Country Arbors Nursery. You can find out more information and directions at countryarbors.com.
Tuesdays can't get any respect. Every week it's I can't believe it's only Tuesday. No one ever asks, how was your Tuesday? But now there is something exciting about Tuesday. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Get an extra $10 off our lowest sale price on an AC Precision tune-up. That means you'll get a $79 tune-up for only $69 when you book online today at chiefbauer.com. The Tune-Up Tuesday sale at Chief Bauer Service Experts. Take that Saturday.
Live from the Habib BPC Studios.